go.
Don't forget, because globe.
Is that his stream? That I can hear.
Because globe. Oh yeah, that might be me. Sorry, yeah.
It's globe because I say globe.
It says just testing the model Streamlabs.
Does it? Is
video.
it my one? Yeah,
The one I just saw pop up.
I'm still trying.
No, it's Flatzoid talks with Tommy. It's actually.
Is it?
We've got 4 or 5 minutes. Yeah, go. Have you put up a new one?
I've just started streaming. Yeah. I don't know whether
It's put it on a new one, but it's not working.
What's not working? The live stream. Brian Shutka. What the fuck is?
There we go.
Said,
oh yeah,
it's
now got you. Yeah, so if you haven't gone to your reminder one, so you need to delete that stream.
Need to delete the stream I'm doing. You say? Or...
No, the first one, the upcoming one, if you want to start early.
I don't know where that is. Is that on the YouTube?
Yeah, you need to get into where your videos are and remove that from your YouTube studio quickly. Yeah. The upcoming one before it starts, because otherwise, I don't know what happens. I think it should just stay shut off, but all the people over there will be wondering where you are, like I was just a moment ago.
All right.
You can still hear that in the background, by the way, DP.
Right, is that...
Sounds like he's going to take us very serious.
I don't know where the title is for the thingy then with the... With the I don't know where the title is because it's not going through YouTube.
Okay, hang on. I'm going to go.
What's it called? Is it called Next Level Test? Because it's not even showing on YouTube because I've gone through Streamlabs.
It's just testing the model Streamlabs as it's come up with, whereas the one you put up to start in a minute, where has it gone?
Yours.
Yeah, I've got rid of it. You told me to get rid of it, so I got rid of it.
Okay, perfect. Everyone will come over in a sec then. They'll be like, where's that stream gone? And hopefully...
Oh, there you go. Just testing the model Streamlabs. See if I can... title and description. There you go.
DP, we can hear that really loud.
Yeah, video has been removed.
Cool, they'll all be over in a minute. Here we go. They're coming.
Right, well, I've changed the title on that one now. I've found out where to do that. Live now.
It's only because you went early on the programmed scheduled one. It just started up a new stream for you.
Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, it doesn't seem to work through the old YouTube stuff that I used to do. It's all now through Streamlabs.
If someone out there could just let us know if the sound is okay and everything's working, please.
Yeah, we need to sound check with Tommy when he comes in. I'll turn Flatzoid volume up a bit.
YouTube sounds good. Sounds okay.
And anyone who's got mods, keep an eye on if people jump in and you think that they might interrupt. Feel free to mute them.
Where is this guy?
YouTube sounds good.
Oh, there you go.
You've still got a delay on YouTube though, Bev.
Yeah, you will have, but we can hear it back through yours anyway.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna mute. Jeez.
Bev's quite low. Although Bev won't be doing a lot of talking this evening. It's mainly going to be Flatzoid and Tommy when he gets here. And hopefully I don't need to say hardly anything at all.
Brian says if we ever need a lift doing anything, he lives in Wigan as well. That's it. Everybody's
nice.
This is a hot area.
All the cool people live up there, apparently. No, they don't really. They all live down the south. You northerners.
Yeah, we don't do southerners.
Yeah. Don't do you northerners. I am joking, by the way. I have got half the families like Liverpool, so.
Yeah, well, when we're doing stuff, everybody's welcome to come down. I think we're doing
Tommy.
Particularly. Is Tommy in?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tommy's in.
Hey.
Evening, Tommy. Good to see you.
Evening, dude.
Yeah, you too. Just gonna adjust the mic a bit. Oop.
Okay. Basically, the rest of us are going to mute. And
yeah, I would appreciate that.
Yeah, unless you two need me to step in, I will not be stepping in. So, you two are grown up.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will be civil. So, you guys take it away. Have fun.
Thank you. I don't know if you heard me, Bell, but thanks for last time.
No problem, mate. Anytime.
Yeah.
Always welcome.
Thanks. So, what I was hoping for this time was to get a little more in depth about all these angles and optics and stuff. Because last time it was just a bit too many people to get anything clear out of it.
I'm listening. Is
Yeah.
there anything specific you want to know?
There was something about the optics when I asked you what numbers you used to calculate everything, and you said something about the cameras and lenses and stuff. So, how is this stuff working? What numbers are you using?
With what observation?
For example, my old with the wind turbines, or any other observation where is cameras involved.
No, you're not really making a question. I don't understand what math you're looking for. If you can give me a basis to work on, I can try and do something for you.
Just curious about what, as last time you asked for what camera I had, what lens I had for doing my observations, and I just would like to know what numbers you use from those cameras and lenses and stuff.
Because the lenses and the cameras, they give different, how can I say, gives a different effect to what you're looking at, observing it.
Different effect.
I mean, you understand how a image sensor works on a camera, correct?
Yeah, seamless. Yeah, sure.
And that can change the image quality quite a bit.
Quality, yeah. More important stuff is, does it move stuff around inside the frame?
Well, it depends on what angle you're observing something and which focus point you're focused on. So if something is blurred in the distance, if you're with the diffraction, because the lens diffraction, you're not going to be able to resolve the thing, and because something is blurred, the bigger angle is going to be more resolvable.
Yeah, that doesn't mean disappear.
Resolvable, I didn't say disappear. Two different things.
That doesn't mean disappear. So when I'm looking at the wind turbines and the bottom and the hill is disappearing.
Yeah. The large, what would be your elevation?
this is from last time. I'm going to share in the chat. Just going to find back the folder. As I said to my people here, I was a bit hectic. It was last minute, so a bit behind schedule. Sorry for that.
No stress.
Thanks. Yeah. That one. In the live chat.
Okay, 22 meters, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Hey, this is the one. This is the one where you showed you were. I think you said you were 20 kilometers away, correct?
The map here. 68 kilometers.
68 kilometers, yeah.
Yeah. So what I was talking about last time was if something disappears because of some angles, then it should move down. But when you're talking about resolvable, that doesn't mean disappear. So the bottom of those turbine and the hill they're standing on are disappeared.
Yeah, because of occultation. You understand with perspective, the ground is rising relative to eye level in the distance. You understand that, correct?
On a flat surface, that shouldn't hide anything.
On any surface, due to perspective, the ground will rise to eye level.
No.
Yes. Is perspective wrong? I'm going to post
that horizon is not at eye level.
Quick video. Yeah, it is relative to eye level. It's not saying it's eye level. It's all just optical effect. I'm saying it's all just optical. It isn't eye level. It rises relative to eye level.
There are plenty of other observations that also, like this one, where it's far from eye level.
Yeah, but your camera angle is looking below that water. That's why it's looking that it's up. If you had to lift your camera to center frame of that water, it will be level with the horizon. If you had to lift it a bit higher, it will be lower than the horizon. It's all just got to do with the angle of incidence.
Center frame doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you point the camera.
Yes, it does.
No.
Yes, it does. It's your angle of incidence. Have you ever taken take a pencil and hold it in front of your eye and just move your eye level below it or above it or towards it, and you'd see it changes your level relative to the distance in the back.
Out in the distance on my two photos here, there's nothing different on where the turbines are in reference to that house there. There's nothing changing in the way you're holding the camera. It just doesn't.
You just went left to right, correct?
I just rotated the camera and I had on the top one, it's bottom left. On the other one, it's top left, and I rotated it. So it doesn't matter how you hold the camera. Nothing inside the frame will change places.
You're not understanding what I'm saying. Your level elevation changes what you see.
Yeah, but again, the center frame doesn't matter.
Center frame does matter.
No. I have another one here I can show you.
Did you?
Even if I have here, that's my setup with my camera over a water level, and
awesome.
If I tilt it upwards, you have eye level bottom frame. If I tilt it the other way, you have eye level top frame, and nothing changes.
So that is changed because the eye level has raised and the eye level has gone down. So you've just demonstrated exactly what I said.
Yeah, but nothing changes in the distance.
Yes, it does.
The eye level is still the same.
Look at that eye level. Both.
Yeah, there's a building in the back there. Just above there is a building.
You see that?
Photos,
you see that pole on the left?
Yeah, that's because
the goalpost.
Yeah, that's a wide angle lens. That's a 10mm lens.
I don't care about the lens.
Distortions.
You see that goalpost on the left?
Yeah, that's distortion.
Can you see how the level has changed just with the angle?
That's distortion.
No.
If you're looking center frame at that house in the background there, you can see windows, and at those windows, that yellow line hit the bottom frame on those windows all the way. Nothing changes.
You're not listening to what I'm saying. The angle we are looking at is the closer angle, the floor angle. That piece of ground patch, you can see changes due to your elevation, due to your angle of incidence.
Distortion in the lens.
No, that ground patch is right next to the blue tube. That's got nothing to do with lens distortion at the moment.
Yeah, but if
we're literally just talking perspective.
Yeah, if you're looking at the house, there's a house back there with windows. That yellow line hits those windows at the bottom frame on each and every one of them. You can't go to the sides because it's a wide angle lens with distortions.
Why you keep moving away from what I'm telling you?
Because that's not how it works. On both these photos,
so you validate everything I say and tell me that's not how it works.
I'm just saying that center frame doesn't matter.
Of course it does. It's got to do with occultation.
What is occultation?
The closer angle, even though it's smaller, will now be larger, and thus it will occult at the back angle. That's why I'm saying, you see those tubes represent your ground.
Occultation means to hidely cover something, doesn't it?
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. Yeah. You see those tubes? Those tubes would represent the ground in a far distance observation. That would have the larger angle than those wind turbines that you look in the distance. So that's why the ground has occulted over the bottom of those wind turbines. Understand?
No, because nothing can hide anything. It can be unresolved, but nothing on a flat surface can be covered by something else that's not there. There's nothing physically covering in between.
I posted a video 6 minutes past 9. Would you just quickly play that? Do you see it? It's just above the one with the red water tube.
Give me a second. I'm going to go into that YouTube channel.
It's 16 seconds long.
When did you post it?
6 minutes past 9. Must I post it again quickly? Might be easier.
Special. That's the last one.
Now I'm posting it quickly on live chat again.
But is that just you talking about stuff or are you actually showing something?
It's an actual demonstration.
Well...
Okay, DP just posted it now again. I'm also posting it.
Oh, in this chat? Oh, I was on the chat.
Yes, in the chat. No,
okay,
in the chat, yeah.
It's playing now.
Can you see what happens when you change elevation?
Just lowering the camera.
Yeah, and what happened to what happened to the floor? What happened to the angle of the floor?
Again, as we talked about last time, when someone showed a hallway with that yellow sign on it, my turbines are not a piece of the floor; it's standing up.
I asked you a specific question. What happened to the angle of the floor? Yes, it does. Your turbines would be at the back. You see that back room at the back there in the distance?
Yeah. If you pause it, yeah, you have it on the floor at 8 seconds. You can still see there's some figure in that room, and you will see the head of it. It seems like a person figure, doesn't it? No, it's something in the back room there.
Do you see that?
on the wall, a
Tommy?
black box or something on the wall.
Tommy,
Yeah,
do you see the bottom dark line in that back room on the wall when you're totally standing up?
that floor
Before
doesn't
you
seem
press
to
play.
be. That floor doesn't seem to be a flat. That seems to be
You-
curved.
Tommy, you haven't even tried to address one thing I've said so far. You see that
Because
back
what
room?
you're saying doesn't make any sense.
How can I explain it to you if it doesn't make sense if you're not trying to acknowledge anything I say?
Because you just say occultation and think that's work. But again,
I'm
from that floor,
I'm-
when you have the camera on that floor, and you see in the room back there, you have a black box on the wall with a cable through it or something. That would be
That
where the wind
black
turbines are.
box. That black box is not what we're looking at. We are looking at the smallest angle. That would be the
No, we're looking
bottom.
at something that's 15 times higher than me.
Do you understand that when we're looking at the bottom angle, that's the lowest?
But the bottom angle is not my observation. My observation is
Yes,
something
it
that's
is.
15 times over my head, as you can see there. I should be looking
Just
up at
like-
something 15 times higher, and not at the ground, not at the floor.
Do you understand that the ratio difference between those wind turbines and your camera, just like with your camera and with the camera that I just showed there,
What
to
ratio are you
that
talking about? Please be specific.
you are looking upwards.
Yeah,
If you had to stand in front of those wind turbines,
yeah,
you would have to look up at them, correct?
straight up, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Now your camera lens is, let's say, 35 millimeters or whatever.
400.
Okay. Now the thing with is, you are looking up with that 40 mil. If you are essentially, if you have to scale it down, your 40 mil is literally touching the ground. You understand?
But I will still
So
be looking
that-
at something
that-
15 times higher than me.
So even when the lower you're going down, the more you're going to be looking up at it. The more you're going to be occulting that bottom angle over it. So the ground's angle is going to get larger the further the distance.
The ground angle.
Yes.
The ground is
The
flat.
ground, yes, you can only
So
get
what
angles on a
what-
flat
what is-
surface.
What is the ground angle?
0.
Yeah.
You can only
As
get,
asked
you
me
can
last
only,
time, what is the angle of a flat line? You said as a zero, you said 180. So which is it?
what do you mean?
You asked me last time, just before I left, what is the angle of a line? And I said 0, and you said 180.
Yeah. A straight line
so
has an
it's a
angle of
0 now.
180.
It's a 0 now.
But, yes, it's a
It's flat.
0 angle.
So
Because you're on
nothing
the
should be
0
covered.
angle.
So
Now the
it's
thing
flat.
is, Tommy,
Yeah.
you do understand you can only get an angle on a flat surface.
What angle are you talking about? This is flat.
Yes, so the angle is flat.
What angle?
The
0.
floor's angle.
Yeah.
If you I'm trying to explain it to you, but I can't explain it to you if you're just obfuscating everything I say about.
I just want you to know that nothing hides anything over a flat surface.
I just gave you a video proving it.
Because
DP
that floor
just-
distance in fact, and what I'm looking at is 15 times higher than me, not at the ground.
Has the sea got waves?
Not 22 meters high.
No. And is this 22 meters high on this demonstration?
No.
So you just debunked your argument then.
What are waves doing with this? Waves doesn't hide anything.
The
asked for
angular
waves,
size, the angular size of a wave that's closer is going to be much larger than those bottoms of those.
Yeah.
What's the name is in the distance
But
exactly? So
no
it would have caught
waves.
above it.
No waves 22 meters high.
Nobody
are
said
you
it's
gonna cut
22
it?
meters high. You know, you
Because
can
that's
take
my elevation.
you can take a picture of a wave that's 2 centimeters high, and it will still call something that's 10 kilometers away.
But then your camera needs to be 2 centimeters off the floor.
Yes.
If you're standing upright, let's say you're 6 feet tall, and you have the camera just about eye level at 1 meter 70, as I have. Nothing that's 1 meter 50 should ever cover anything at your eye level.
You were only 22 meters above sea level.
Yeah. So
And
how high
you think
does these
you
waves?
think you think at 60 kilometers away, things that don't rise to eye level, the ground's not rising to eye level. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, because I have photos of it. It doesn't happen.
So you say perspective is wrong then?
No, perspective is pretty good.
But then you would understand ground raises to eye level.
Ikke to eye level. Ikke. Sorry, Norwegian popping, not to eye level. It appears to rise towards eye level, but not to eye level.
Relative to eye level, exactly.
What
You would
relative?
understand then.
This
The
is just
closer.
about carrying.
So if you, how can I explain this? If you had to take a piece of paper and hold it in front of you, vertical, and you had to place it down on the ground horizontal now, and you walk away from it, is that piece of paper angle changing?
Are you back to that sign, yellow sign in that hallway again? You're talking about angles, and what exact number do you have in all those angles?
Perspective has got everything to do with angles. We
Yeah,
can't
but
move
you need
on until you
quantified.
acknowledge. We can't move on until you acknowledge the ground is the larger angle towards your observer.
Only way I can have horizon at eye level is what I posted there. There's horizon at eye level. That's the only way I can have it.
You didn't answer what I just said.
Because again, it's irrelevant.
Why is it irrelevant?
Because on a flat surface, when you have these angles you're talking about, angles doesn't hide anything.
Of course angles hide things. This is how perspective works.
Define perspective.
Just everything converges to a convergence point.
Yeah, but nothing disappears.
So the ground, so your convergence point would be the apparent horizon. Now that means your ground is rising to that apparent horizon. So everything
Towards,
that's
not
there
towards.
rising upwards. So everything is rising upwards.
Into your vanishing
You
point.
understand?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Towards the vanishing point.
So
yeah.
So if that ground has a large angle, and you're just going to magnify that large
Have a
angle.
large angle? Please, you have to specify. How can the ground have a large angle?
Because you are closer to the ground. The ground, you understand, angle is based on distance. So because you are looking into the distance, the angle already starts at where you can see relative, which is usually not far from your observer point. You have to take that whole distance into account.
So
You understand
criterion and perspective. That's just about it.
That's practically all it is.
Yeah.
The Riley criterion is just the easier way of explaining as soon as the larger angle has occulted over the smaller angle, it has reached the diffraction limit. It's just the easier way of explaining it to you guys.
And all of this just works up and down, not sideways.
Well, you don't see an orthographic view, do you?
I'm not talking orthographic, I just talk about everything disappearing downwards, even though the angles are here and there. Nothing disappears sideways.
You still get compression from top to bottom, but it's much more minimal due to the larger angle. Because you are closer to the ground.
Angle? What larger angle?
You are closer to the ground, So your
I'm still 22
your
meters.
foundation.
Of
So
the-
exactly 22 meters is still. It doesn't mean you can be 100 meters. It doesn't matter. You're just extending your field of view. You are still closest to the ground.
Yeah, but again, let's see. Let me go back here. Not that one. This one. Every single one of those points are above my eye level. And what angles? The hill has the largest angle. I can't see the hill. It's totally gone. That's the
Exactly, because
largest
the water.
angle.
No, the water has occulted over the hill. Do you understand that?
No,
Because
because
the
that
whole.
you can't hide anything over a flat surface.
I just gave you a demonstration hiding things over flat surface. Then you went and said it's not flat.
Yeah, you're hiding the floor. What do you call that? Threshold on the other side. I'm not talking about threshold. I'm talking about a hill that's 175 meters high with a turbine on top. That's where you're hiding.
You still rise in the largest angle. It's the same as taking.
But you need to have
I'm
some
going to
numbers
post.
here, Flatzoid. Sorry, but you need to have some
Okay.
numbers here.
Okay. Look here. This is from Ruif's video. Okay.
Yeah.
You see this? Do you
Yep.
see that horizon angle to the bottom? Would you see that is larger than the angle from that Bankboard Manor to its base? Can you see that? The
Talking
angle's
about
larger.
0.165 and 0.1095.
You can see it's larger, correct?
That is not to the that's to the bottom of the mountain. That was hidden behind the horizon.
Exactly, you're making my point. That ground is occulting the bottom of the mountain because it's got a larger angle. Because due to perspective, the ground is rising relative to eye level.
But again,
It's
that doesn't make any sense.
basic stuff.
No, that's not basic. When I'm
You
standing
just said
22,
you can stand
when I'm
100 meters. It's not going to make a difference. You're just going to extend your field of view. You're just going to let that occultation appear later on. Do you understand that? Because you are widening the angles of the observations further away, just like you're widening the observation of the floor.
But again, as long as I'm over that, the occultation doesn't make any sense whatsoever, and you need to quantify it.
I just did. I gave you actual that your globe side did with math. You can see there
No.
the larger angle is the ground.
As you said, was it Ruhiv's maths, not your maths?
That's the diffraction limit math he was using
That's-
angles, and then he used the diffraction. Wait, and then he used the diffraction limit angle, math, which totally validated the larger angle would be 168 times larger. Do you understand that?
Refraction wouldn't make any difference on a flat surface. Because refraction wouldn't work on a flat surface.
You want to back that up?
Yeah, because when you're standing on one side, as I'm standing at 22 meters, I should be looking into 22 meters above the water on the other side, no matter the distance. That's just how physics works. So we can agree on that, I hope.
Do you want to prove that? Because that's a claim I want you to back up.
You didn't understand that, seriously. Let's try one more time.
You made a claim. Back it up.
Yeah. Just go through that one more time, slowly.
You made a claim, back it up.
Yeah. I'm standing 22 meters above sea level. That's my elevation. We can agree on that one. So my eye level is at 22 meters above sea level. So on the other side, no matter the distance, I should be looking into a point 22 meters above sea level. Please tell me you understand that.
Carry on. I'm waiting for you to back up your claim because at the moment you're proving my point.
That's the claim. I should be looking into a point 22 meters on the other side. That's my claim.
And you are. But because
Yeah.
of perspective, it's an optical effect that the ground is raising, and thus it's occulting the bottoms of the things in the distance.
Perspective doesn't allow that.
Now you made a claim that on a flat surface it will not happen. So back up that claim and show me not happening, because your observation is totally validating how perspective works.
Yeah, I'm going to post that as another post just to make that one more time. That one. Again. Oops, sorry. So, if someone please stop posting everything. Yeah, of course. Can you magnify the last one I posted? Just click on it, magnified.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can see there's a gradient there from white to gray, from top to bottom. On a flat surface, refraction would be this wouldn't do anything because you're looking at the same density layer all across. So refraction wouldn't happen.
Okay, Tommy, first of all, you already made a claim that on a flat surface, you would not be occulted, which you're not backing up. Secondly, you just made another claim that refraction, you made another claim now again that refraction would not change with distance. You do understand that temperature changes every few meters. You get water vapor that changes densities every few meters. You get atmosphere that changes every few meters. So that's already debunked your claims. So I want you to please come and back up your original claim, then we'll get to your refraction part, which you've just anyway debunked yourself.
Because as I said, on a flat surface, you're looking through the same density or temperature layer all the way. There isn't any curvature as on the globe. So light bends towards the densest medium object, whatever. That wouldn't happen on a flat surface when you're looking through the same layer all the way.
Would you please be kind to demonstrate this for us as you made a claim? You're making claims without backing anything up. You're just saying what would happen according to you.
How can I demonstrate that? It wouldn't be possible to demonstrate because it's impossible. The Earth isn't flat, so I can't demonstrate it.
You keep making claims without actually demonstrating your claims, Tommy.
That goes both ways, Flatzoid. You're making claims that
I haven't. I haven't made claims. I'm literally explaining to you how perspective works, and with demonstration, it's validating, and everything you've been showing has been validating what I've said. Now, on the contrary, you've been making claims on what should happen, and when I ask you to back it up, you cannot back it up other than because you say so. That's how it is.
Yeah, because you say occultation is something, but it isn't. You haven't backed it up because I should not be looking at that box on the wall from your pictures, from your video. That box on the wall should disappear.
We're not looking at the box, Tommy.
Yeah.
If it was much further in a distance, then the box would disappear. But the distance is not far enough for that. And you do understand that even that box has started going down with elevation.
It will appear to go down, but it physically be the same height, yeah.
Of course. It's because perspective is optical. It's not physical.
If you actually had a floor, if you had a floor that was actually flat instead of a bumpy floor, like that hallway with a yellow sign, that floor seemed to be pretty flat. So I don't remember who posted it, but it would be awesome to see that demonstration done at that floor. That would be awesome. If someone, whoever was that last time, could go back to that hallway and move that sign to the end of the hall.
Okay, Tommy, I'll put 2 pictures in. It's busy loading now. I'll put 2 pictures in here for you. I want you to look at the first picture, look at the shade net, and look at the second picture. Look at the shade net. Tell me what you see, please. The shade net.
What shade?
Yes, the carport. The shade net in the distance. Yes, the shade net in the distance. What's the difference between the first picture and the second picture?
This is exactly as last time. Someone need to explain because I'm just watching two pictures with a different elevation.
What happens with the top carport and the second carport? That's all I'm asking.
What carp? I can see three panes, three strips of tape or something on the pole there.
Ignore the three stripes at the moment. I'm not talking about that.
Explain to me what I should be looking at, please.
The carport, the shade net.
Yeah,
you see that green. You see that green shade net thing where the cars park under, where that tree is.
The green thing with the car. Yeah, I see the roof there, the ceiling. Yeah, of course.
It's a roof. Okay. Now.
Mobius. Yeah, I need to explain because I don't know what I'm looking at. Please stop being in it.
Okay. Now you see that line of that carport relative
What
to
line?
that the carport's line. How can I
The
put
ceiling
it?
or the floor or what?
But the whole thing, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Look at it relative to that hydraulic pump, that yellow part of the hydraulic pump of the head. You see the head. On the top one, the carport is above it, correct? The carport is above it, correct?
Bev, stop being an idiot, please.
Tommy, the
Yeah.
carport is above it. Okay. Now in the second picture, is the carport underneath it or above it still?
Anything. Or you're thinking about that small yellow thing on that vertical thing, on that orange thing.
The hydraulic
Is that
pump,
one you're
correct.
talking about? In the center of the
Hydraulic
frame.
pump.
Yeah, thank
Yes,
you.
the hydraulic pump.
Some clearing will be pretty nice because I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. Thank you. Now we're talking. So that one is now above the ceiling because you have moved the camera down.
Okay, so do you understand that is how perspective works?
Yeah,
the
sure.
ground is
I don't deny
with
the perspective.
Okay, so you understand I didn't change distance here, whatever.
You changed the elevation.
Do you yes, is that carport is it underneath now, that hydraulic pump head, or is it literally still above it, even though it looks like it's underneath it?
Didn't move.
Didn't move, exactly. This is the same with your observation. You are looking far into the distance. You are looking upwards at, you understand? You are looking upwards at it. Now, because it's the distance, the ground is rising relative to eye level. That's how perspective works. So it's occulting. Just like this, listen, just like this hydraulic pump is occulting now, and given the appearance that that shade net is going down is the same, the water is occulting over the bottom of your wind turbines. Simple. Proven.
No,
I made a
you moved the camera up and down. I didn't. Sorry. You're just lowering the camera. I didn't go below water.
I didn't say you had to go below water. What would happen if you have to raise an elevation on your observation, Tommy?
Then probably would see more of the land or the hill below the turbines.
Thank you for validating my point again.
Because curvature is a thing.
So, Tommy, I have just validated my claim of perspective. Now, would you please go ahead and validate your claim that it would not happen on a flat surface, even though I just demonstrated on a flat surface? Please.
Because, again, this demonstration was totally not in relation to my observation.
I just explained to you
how
perspective works. I demonstrated to you. Now you just hand wave dismissing it because of your cognitive dissonance.
So how far away did I need to move for that? Let's go back to your scroll up again. That bottom of those two photos you have there.
Yeah.
You have the camera closest to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
If you're lowering the camera all the way to the ground, how far away would you need for that yellow thing to be below your eye level?
Which yellow thing?
A yellow thing you just told me to look at.
The hydraulic pump. Which part?
Yeah, on that top of the pump, you have that yellow thing on the side there.
You do understand I'm right in front of it, so it won't be below my eye level.
Yeah, that's why I asked you. How far away, if you have the camera on the ground there, how far away do you need to back up before that is below your eye level?
Depends on the aperture of the camera, depends on the angle you're looking at, depends on the temperature of the humidity of the air. There's quite a few variables, but I'm not moving on till you've actually demonstrated your claim. You made a claim it cannot happen on a flat surface, so back it up, Tommy. I'm keeping you to your claim.
That's just simple geometry.
No, I'm keeping you to your claim. You made a claim, back it up.
It's flat. Nothing should have physical. Nothing should be physically obstructed over a flat surface. I said physically.
Exactly. You made a claim, so back it up. I just showed you otherwise.
Nothing
on a flat surface.
Can be obstructed over a flat surface.
Optically, would it be optically occulted?
Nope.
So what I just presented was computer generated then?
No, because that floor isn't flat. Again, do that in the same photo that someone presented last time I was there. You can see.
Please stop being so dishonest. Can you just once in your life stop being so dishonest? Back up your claim instead of just hand wave dismissing what you're saying, please. That's all I'm asking.
I'm going to do a screenshot of that floor.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to post another video for you.
Just going to scroll back up here.
And please go and tell me this is not flat.
In that video of yours, if that floor seems to be bulging just 5 meters in front of you, why isn't that happening all over the place?
It is happening all over the place, Tommy.
No.
Your so-called curve, Tommy, I just put another video for you.
I'm playing it now.
This is lights on a wall. So believe me when I say it is 100% level, 100% flat. There is no bulge. It's a spray booth wall with lights on. Can you see how those lights are compressing into each other? How the closer ones are occulting about the further ones? Can you see that?
I'm going to play just a few seconds more. The furthest one are gone behind the closest one, yeah.
Okay.
But that isn't magic. That's just how stuff happens. You have the camera at the same let's just say eye level, because that's if you turn it, eye level. You have the camera at the same eye level as those lamps. So when you have the center, when you have the center of the camera in that line, you're shading for the other ones.
Can you see what happened when I even zoomed in on it?
Yeah, you didn't show anything more. You just zoomed in.
Okay.
Zooming isn't magic.
What happened when I zoomed in? I just magnified the largest angle that already occulted over the unresolved angle. Once again, I demonstrated and backed up my claim. So again, Tommy, I ask you, I think this is the 8th time, would you be able to back up the claim that it would not happen on a flat surface, even though I just demonstrated it 3 times with different demonstrations for you?
It's still not relevant to my observation. On that video, with his 4 lamps here.
I'm sorry. Are we supposed to be having I thought we were having an actual discussion as grown-ups, not some diaper baby crying because he cannot stick it in his head that what's going on here. You do understand everything you've been saying has been validating what I've said. Everything you've been showing has validated what I've said. And all you've been doing in rebuttal is, nah, because I don't believe, nah. That's it.
go to 14 seconds in that last video. 14 seconds. There is something hanging on the wall there, like some spray equipment or something. There's a hose
Yes.
there with some
What
white
about
stuff
it?
hanging. Yeah, I can still see that.
Duh, because it's because it's still too high. If I had to
Yeah.
change my distance, that would also go down. Do you
So,
understand?
again-
Distance is also dependent on your observation. That's why
Yeah,
when I said you're 60 kilometers away,
Yeah.
makes your 22
So-
meters. Makes your
Again-
22 meters as if you're lying belly on the floor at 10 kilometers. You understand?
Again, at what point would that spray hose or something go below your eye level? You need to quantify that. Just not just saying occultation and that's it. That's not how it works.
Again,
You need to quantify.
it depends on the
Yeah.
aperture of the camera. It depends on the
So-
atmospheric conditions. It depends on the
Yeah.
distance. It
Let's
depends
use
on
some
the
numbers.
elevation.
Let's do this
So
with
it
real
all-
numbers.
It's all got to do with perspective, optical
let's-
illusions.
Let's do
Why
this
you?
with real numbers.
No. You're still
Yeah,
trying
yeah,
to
yeah.
obfuscate. You're still
No, I'm going-
obfuscating from you trying to. You're still obfuscating from you made a claim. You have yet to back it up. So please, so we can move on. I'm sure everybody that's watching this just wants Tommy to just shut the hell up and back up a claim. Be a man.
Yeah.
Come on, back up your claim.
Is that person here who posted those two photos the last time I was in with that sign in that hallway, that yellow slippery sign? Is there someone here who can post that again?
Can anybody please pull that sign up? If you can find it, because I know exactly what you're talking about. And that time you still validated everything I said, like I said. Now,
Oh, because
Tommy?
you're using a floor that's not flat.
it doesn't matter if I use a flippant triangle floor. The point of the matter is, due to perspective, you're always going to have the larger angle occulting in the distance because it is closer to you and it is a larger angle.
Yeah,
Because
but do that on a flat
because
floor and you will see it
perspective,
wrong.
doesn't matter if it's flat, doesn't matter if it's bumpy, doesn't matter whatever. The point
course
of
it
the
does.
matter is the larger angle occults the smaller angle because it rises due to perspective. Finish and klar. I've demonstrated it 3 different times now.
No, you
Okay,
haven't,
now stop
because
hand wave
first of
dismissing.
all,
Now stop
your
hand wave
floor isn't
dismissing
flat.
everything I've said and just go and do a backup of your claim. Not my floor is flat, Pompey's floor is flat. You made a claim, you back it up.
Does anyone have that photo of that yellow slip?
There we go.
There it is. Yeah,
DP put it in.
that one. DP, thank you. That floor is flat. Do the same thing there.
You can see it's doing the same thing there. Is it
If you
rising to eye
slide-
level?
I will bet if you
Is that-
slide that yellow sign all the way to the back, you'll still see the gap underneath it. You can have the camera all the way down on the floor. You can slide that yellow sign all the way back.
Tommy,
You will see
Tommy?
that gap underneath it.
Tommy, is this
Yep.
camera on the floor, correct? Is this camera
I can't
still
tell.
above? Yes, it is. Is this camera
Okay.
still above the gap? Is this camera still above the gap of that sign? AKA higher than the sign?
Use an iPhone or something where the camera lens is damn close to the ground.
Tommy,
Slide that.
is his lens higher than that gap of that sign or
I
not?
can't tell. I don't know what camera it is.
Well, then open your eyes because you can definitely see it's higher.
Probably, yeah, but again, I can't tell because I don't know what camera it is.
So, what is going to happen with that gap then when it goes into the convergence point? It's going to compress downwards into the horizon. So, in other words, it's going to be with eye level when it gets there. Not going to be underneath. It can only be underneath if you're looking up towards it. You're not looking up towards it. You are above it. So thank you for proving you have no cooking clue how perspective works.
It's my turn to talk now. So
You haven't backed up anything yet.
move
You
that
just had to
board
literally show how dishonest you are and can't just converse like a normal human being and back up everything you present. You haven't actually presented anything.
Move that board all the way back to the end of that hallway. That's pretty damn far away. Use an iPhone or something that has the lens all the way down to the floor. You'll be still watching in that gap and you will always be looking up towards the top of that sign.
The top of the sign is still going to compress downwards. Just like those lights in the hallways compressing downwards, those windows are compressing downwards. Correct? Given enough distance, it will reach the total diffraction. I mean, you won't even be able to see the signboard anymore.
I agree. That's perspective. Sure, yeah. I don't deny that. That's perspective. But at what point will that floor hide the board?
As soon as the angle is too large. You see those light reflections from the lights on the floor?
Yeah.
Can you see they are disappearing as they go to the distance?
As a
To a
blue line
point,
there, but yeah, sure.
to a point that you can't even see the lights anymore on the floor?
Because they're stopping where the lights or the hallway stops, something, yeah, sure.
No, because the floor has occulted over. So it looks like it's non-resolvable as separate. It's literally the larger angle has occulted it.
But again, I would really appreciate whoever took that the photo, do that demonstration, move that yellow sign all the way to the back and see what happens.
It's not going to make a difference, Tommy.
If you have anything occulting anything, you should see it back there. That's
so, Tommy,
my observation. That's how my observation works. I should be looking up to something 15 times higher than me. I'm looking down at it. No, Bev, I don't have a hallway that far. Sorry.
Okay, so I don't know how much times I have to ask this, because even this thing you've just put here shows exactly what I'm talking about. So to make it clear, you claimed refraction would not happen on a flat surface, which you have yet to demonstrate this. You have also claimed that perspective doesn't work on a flat surface.
No, I didn't.
Well, you said it wouldn't happen on a flat surface, even though we've been demonstrating this.
No matter what. Perspective happens.
Great. So occultation, things at bottom, disappear. Thank you to perspective.
Nope.
Sharp.
Occultation doesn't work on flat surface.
Oh, so the 4 different demonstrations we just showed you didn't show this?
And none of them showed anything. First one, the one you posted is 16 seconds. That's not a flat floor.
Yes, it is flat.
No, there's a bump in it. That's why I asked someone to do that on that floor with a yellow sign there. That's a flat floor. Do it.
And what happens with and do you remember? And you And do you remember what happens on that video of that board when it moved into the distance? If you have to move it into distance?
What board?
The wet sign board.
Yeah, there's no video. There's just 2 photos.
Exactly. So like we just talked about 5 minutes ago, if you are looking down at it and it moves into the distance, what's going to happen? It's going to rise, correct?
Appear to move towards
with the floor.
Point, yeah.
Exactly. Now, if you are lower than it and it's moving to the distance, what's going to happen?
It's going to appear to move into the vanishing point.
So it's going to compress downwards into the horizon, correct?
Not compressing.
Yes, it gets smaller with angular size.
Sorry, yeah, compressing, yeah.
Okay.
My bad.
And because you are looking up at it, it is therefore going to vanish downwards because you are looking with the floor upwards.
It's not going to vanish downwards. It's going to vanish into my vanishing point, which in my case, in my observation, is 22 meters above sea level.
Exactly. Your 22 meters at 60 kilometers away is the same as you lying on your belly looking at something at 10 kilometers away. You do realize that?
It should still be 22 meters above sea level. Eye level.
Optically, it wouldn't be.
How does that work?
occultation of the largest angle. That's how it works. You do understand that. You do also
Occultation doesn't
understand.
work, sorry.
In reality, we also have topography in your way.
That's why I'm doing this over water.
So you agree water is then level and flat.
Level, yeah, not flat.
But you just said that's why you're doing it over water, because you want to
Because
mimic flat.
Then you don't have topography.
Water has topography. There's waves.
Again, if you see my photo there, there's no waves. That's just ripples. And
Yes,
those
and
needs to be 22
what's the
meters to
angle?
do anything for me.
And what's the angular size of those ripples as it's further away because it has rised to eye level?
So how can a ripple 10 centimeters high hide something from me when I'm 22 meters above sea level?
Easy, I've explained it to you.
No,
Occultation.
you haven't. Because,
What have we been
again, I'm
talking about
22
the
meters
last
above.
hour?
Yeah, you've been talking. But
How much
you
times
need to
must I
show
repeat
something.
myself?
You need
I
to show
have 4
something
different
that's-
demonstrations.
You need to
Can
show
I ask-
something that's not on a bumpy floor.
Yeah. I expect make it stop because this Tommy is just talking in circles. He's not doing anything
No, I'm
other
trying to
than
get
saying
answers.
nah.
I'm trying to get answers from you.
You're just saying nah the whole time. I've explained it
Physically,
over and over.
nothing can be hiding anything else.
Physically, no. Optically, yes.
Again, that's what you need to demonstrate.
I just did with 4 different demonstrations.
Seriously, you didn't.
Are you for real? Are you for real? You have not
That's
shown
what I
one
said.
demonstration of anything yet. Can you please
That's
show me
what
a demonstration?
That's why I said
Demonstration.
that's why I said this needs to be done on that floor with that yellow sign, because that's a flat floor and it's far away. So do that on that floor. Whoever did it, please do it again. That's a flat floor. If you can do it there, I will accept it. No problems.
Again, you made a claim, you back it up. Not my burden to bear. Would you please back up the claim you made?
That's just simple geometry, really. If you're denying geometry,
Sorry,
please.
is geometry perspective?
Again, I never denied geometry. Sorry, I never denied perspective.
You just said I have to do geometry while we're talking about perspective. So, is geometry perspective?
Again, over a flat surface, nothing will hide anything physically. And if you're
That's
saying
not
optically, you need to
what I
demonstrate it
asked.
with a flat surface.
It's not
with
what I,
actually a flat surface.
it's not what I asked. Is geometry perspective?
No.
Okay, great. So when you talk about perspective, why are you trying to talk about geometry?
Because when you're saying something is hidden over a flat surface, that's geometry.
No.
Yeah.
No. Perspective is not geometry based.
No. But again, you're claiming that something is hidden over a flat surface.
Do you understand why? Do you understand why when you draw a geometric orthographic view, you are not putting perspective into view? Do you understand why?
Not according to you, probably. So please explain.
Not according to me. We just established, you as well, that it's an optical illusion, not a physical illusion. So in geometry, you wouldn't be able to go and actually say what's happening in perspective because it's geometry showing physical. Understand? In Muppet vision from the side, which we never see. Perspective is all just optical based. It's not the actual positions, not the actual positions of where you're seeing them.
Yeah, I
Understand?
said I didn't say orthographic. Sorry.
So then how can you tell me we must go to geometry when we're talking about perspective?
I didn't say when you talk about perspective. I said when you talk about occultation.
Occultation is part of a perspective, not geometry.
Most certainly isn't.
Is that so? Okay. Would you do me a favor? Take your thumb. Stick it in front of your eye, please. Away from your face. Look at the car in front of you if you want to. And is the car smaller than your finger?
You can hide the moon behind your thumb, so of course, yeah.
Is that physically blocked? Is it physically blocked, or is it just a optical illusion that it's blocked?
Because you have a finger in front of the car, it's blocked.
Is it physically blocked because the car is smaller than the finger, or is the finger just giving an optical illusion that it's bigger?
Optical, of course.
There we go. So is that geometry, or is it just optics?
As perspective.
Exactly, optics.
Yeah.
So again, stop
But
telling me about geometry when we are talking about perspective. We can move on to geometry once you have actually backed up your claim that this would not happen on a flat surface. Because so far you've just made claims without backup.
If I drop my finger 5 centimeters, how far away back do I need to go before that thumb once again hides the car?
I'm not waiting for you to ask me stuff. I'm waiting for you to back up your claim. No, I've been asking for what? 25 minutes now to back up your claim?
But
yeah, and have you backed up your claim?
I don't understand.
Have you backed up your claim?
There's no way I can answer because you don't understand.
Oh, I understand perfectly. That's why I'm holding you to this, to your claim.
Yeah, perspective doesn't hide anything.
2 minutes ago, you just said yes, it does with your thumb. Thank you, everybody. We've just seen what the clown this guy is. He's being total dishonest.
No.
Yes. So what is it?
Again.
Does it? So what does it? Does it optically? Does it optic? Does it? No, I'm trying to. Does it optically do it now, or doesn't it?
Again, if I'm lowering my thumb 5 centimeters, there's no way in the distance that thumb is covering the car again. So perspective doesn't hide anything.
You changing your elevation of your thumb is showing you're changing your perspective view, your angle.
So when I'm standing 22 meters above sea level, I should be looking into a point 22 meters above sea level on the other side. Why is that hiding anything? That's not how perspective works.
Must we go again?
That's
okay.
not perspective.
You standing 22 meters, looking at 60 kilometers away. Every point from you is converging to a convergence point.
Yeah.
You are closer to the largest angle, which is the floor. You are standing on a physical surface, a floor. That floor is busy going due to perspective. It is rising relative to eye level to the convergence point, while everything in the distance is also converging to this convergence point. Now, thanks to the physical floor that's closer towards you with the largest angle, it occults in front of the much smallest bottom angle. Understand now, child?
Nope. Child, seriously.
My 5-year-old child gets this. Do you understand how stupid you have to be not to understand this? My 5-year-old child gets this.
Please, don't tell me you're teaching your 5-year-old son this. Please.
Hello. You're talking to an art major here. You're talking to an art major here. You're telling me that my perspective is wrong. Is that what you're telling me?
I never said your perspective is wrong. I said occultation.
You just told me, please. You just told me I'm teaching my child wrong.
If you're teaching your son that Earth is flat or something like this, yeah.
Sorry, where did I say anything about Earth is flat here or anything once in this whole presentation?
No, but if this is what you're teaching me, please stop doing that.
No, so I can't teach my child perspective. Is that what you're telling me?
Teaching me the wrong way.
It's not my own way. This is how perspective works.
perspective.
Your
I don't-
straw man's, just because it goes against your globe cult doesn't make it wrong, Tommy. So if you want to really prove me wrong, please be so kind and demonstrate your claim.
Yeah.
Yeah?
So
Demonstrate it, please.
I did it. I done it many times.
So can I see this demonstration, please?
It's right there on the top of your screen now, 22 meters above sea level.
That is showing perspective-based bottom-up obstruction. Exactly what you would expect to see. What I've just demonstrated.
Bottom up is obstruction is not a part of perspective.
So are you going to demonstrate it? Are you going to demonstrate instead of just carry on making claims?
Perspective makes objects disappear into total, not bottom first.
So the
If
ground
you
doesn't rise
learn
then.
perspective, you probably have that mathematical formula. I don't have that.
It's called the diffraction limit. It's called the diffraction limit. And thanks to Ruef, he just validated with the math with the mountains because he proved the floor has a larger angle. And because it's got a larger angle, it has occulted over the bottom of the mountains, which I've just posted in the chat again. Thank you, Ruef. Huge shout out to Ruef for debunking the whole globe argument that things do not rise relative to eye level and that the floor does not occult bottom-up obstruction. You've just proven our point totally. Thank you, Ruef. And thank you, Tommy, for proving you've just been dishonest and been trying to obfuscate from just backing up your claims and while wasting everyone's time.
No.
And you can, while you're at it, you can thank Ranty for, he said it, top to bottom compression. So things do compress from the top to bottom, which show why the mountains would be lower thanks to perspective. And you can also say thanks to Cats for ignoring Aries disk and the bottom angle as well. You guys are just ruining your globe. This is a huge shout out to all you globies like Tommy and those three amigos, proving your globe to be false.
What Ranty also showed as your demonstration, he went out to a running field, 100 meters plus the start and finish, about 110, 120 meters. He had this camera placed on the floor, and on the other side he placed an egg to represent an egg and a Buddha figure or something. And none of those were obstructed bottom up. You could see everything with the camera on the floor at 100 meters.
Ooh, okay. And
also,
do you understand his camera lens was higher than the egg? Did you maybe take that into account?
Wolfie 6020 also did that in a hotel hallway.
Tommy, did you
floor and went back.
Tommy, exactly, Tommy. Do you understand that both those demonstrations you just talked about, the camera lens was looking downwards on those objects? It was higher. Yes. Yeah.
Just like you did.
He put it on the floor, but the lens itself on the camera is looking down on it.
No.
Do you understand that?
So what's the difference?
When you look up at an object, it goes into the distance. It will have bottom-up obstruction because it's compressing. If you look down on it, because you are higher, it's going to rise up with it because it goes to the convergence point. I don't know how much more simpler I can make this. This is the things you learn. You learn this type of perspective in grade 1.
What camera did you use?
Doesn't matter what camera you use.
If you're talking
the
about
elevation, the elevation of the lens is what counts here.
Exactly. When you have the camera on the floor, what camera did you use?
It's like it doesn't matter what camera he uses. The lens is higher than the object he observed.
No, it isn't. Because what Wolf did in that hallway, he used the lens cap from that camera. That's exactly the same size as the lens.
And the lens cap, And the lens cap was what? Lower than the lens of the camera, correct?
No.
Because I did watch this observation. I tell you now, looking at it, it was lower than the camera.
You can see the bottom at the floor. The floor didn't obstruct anything.
You can see the bottom of the floor. You know why? Because the floor rises to eye level. Thank you once again for validating my point.
Why could Wolfie see the floor at that distance, but you couldn't in that what is it, a shop or something? Car shop? Why couldn't you see the floor on the other side?
Because he was lower.
Again, that's exactly why I asked you what camera you used. That's exactly why I asked you.
Again, the lens elevation. Where is the lens situated on? Okay, I don't even know why we have to go to this. Where is the lens situated on the camera? Where is the lens situated on the camera?
At the front, of course.
No, where is it situated on the camera with due to its elevation? Is it usually in the middle about the camera?
Why do you think I'm asking what camera you're using?
Is it usually in the middle of the camera?
That's why I asked you what camera you use. Seriously.
It does. Listen what I'm saying.
If you have a small lens, you get lower. If you have a big lens, you get higher.
So he sticks his camera on the floor to look at a lens cap. A lens cap that is lower in elevation than the lens itself on the camera. In other words, his elevation is higher than the observation. So he's got a wider field of view. He can still see the lens cap. Understand? He can still see the floor. Everything is converging to the lens.
Towards, not to, towards.
Do you understand? You're making my point, yeah?
That's exactly, again, why I asked what camera did you use? I'd like to see the elevation from the floor up to the center of the lens. That's why I'm asking.
Okay, so if I take my iPhone 7 here and I stick it upside down and I stick it upside down on the floor, that lens is about 3 millimeters. Well, I'll say more like 5 millimeters. More be like 5 millimeters off of the floor. Okay?
To the edge, yeah, but to the center, that's the difference.
Okay. That would make my elevation 5 millimeters.
Yeah.
Now if I have to take something and stick it down the hallway and my elevation is looking upwards at that observation, I will get occultation because I am looking at something that has a higher altitude than my elevation point. Understand? If it was...
because occultation is not a thing. You say occultation, but nah, that doesn't help.
I just demonstrated and explained it to you multiple times. You have yet to demonstrate once of what's going on. So last time, Tommy, if you want to have a grown-up conversation with me, back up your claim. As simple as that.
Which was
you made a claim refraction cannot happen on a flat surface. You made a claim that we cannot see bottom obstruction on a flat surface, even though I've demonstrated it multiple times. So as a belief, so please go ahead, demonstrate your claim. That's all I'm asking. No word salad, no nothing, just demonstration.
Yeah, sure. So again, on a flat surface, you can't have refraction work the same way as a globe, because when you're looking at through the atmosphere on a globe, light bends towards the denser medium. And as the Earth is flat over a flat surface, that wouldn't happen because you have the same layer all the way. As you said, you probably have some temperature differences here and there. But in that case, as I was at that place on the end of the world 4 times during winter, summer, spring, and fall, at some point, I should be having that part of the land above my eye level. I didn't.
Okay, let me get this straight. So you start off by saying how refraction works on a globe
Yeah.
to try and tell me how it's not going to work on a flat surface.
Yeah.
Then you go and make assumptions on temperature at 60 kilometers away. I never once said that your observation would even change. Secondly, refraction does definitely happen on any surface. If you don't believe me, you can maybe go to a channel called Sky Friberry, because they do quite a few demonstrations of this. Oh, and Bev just put a photo in with refraction and mirroring on water, which is level and flat. So, Tommy,
Yeah. Do you see
instead of
something?
making more claims and trying to base it on your cold globe, it would be great if you actually do a demonstration.
Could you
You know,
please,
like take a camera out. You know, like take a camera out and take a flat surface, which, well, you would claim as flat, and show me that you cannot get refraction on there. So in other words, you have to try and actually mimic something to not get refraction. And then you can also go and try and do the same thing on a flat surface and see that you do not get obstruction and you do not get perspective on a flat surface. Please go ahead.
if you magnify that photo that Bev had here, could you please explain what I'm looking at? Can you describe what that is?
Simple. It's a mirroring on the x-axis.
Yeah. What's the object? What are we looking at? What's the object we're looking at? That orange and blue stuff. What is it?
That's a guy on the boat.
Can you count the fingers of that guy?
Why would I be able to count the fingers? Do you understand?
It's someplace because you can't see what it is because it's full
would
of
you
proportions, maybe.
would you understand that's his actual position? He is actually there. He's not floating in midair. You do understand this, right?
Can you identify?
Wait. You understand that, right? You
Yeah.
understand that, right? He's not floating. He's actually there. So you do know on your globe, that would be saying he is floating because he would be higher, be behind water. The refraction is somehow mirroring it upwards.
Yeah, but
do you understand that?
Can you? Yeah.
On a flat surface, this is perfectly feasible. You know why? Because he's at his actual location, and him plus the sky is mirrored on a horizontal plane. And because you can see that mirroring, and because you can see that mirroring on the x-axis, which is impossible on your curved surface, you've just debunked your whole refraction claim.
Can you identify what you're seeing on that photo? Is that
the
a
man
clear photo?
with the boat?
Is that
it's very clear.
Is that
it's
clear?
It's very clear what's happening.
Yeah, but again, if you're watching my photos, there are no distortions.
Oh, so you think refraction has only got to do with distortions? You do know that you can refract things without really having a distortion, correct?
If you're having distortions in the air, distortions would show in a photo, just like Bev is showing there. I don't have that in my photo.
Is that so?
Yeah.
So you claiming there's no refraction that day?
No, I don't. I say there's no distortions in my photo like that one.
So no refraction then?
Probably a bit, yeah, but not like
please
that.
explain. Then please explain to everybody when you go to your photo why I can see through the bottom of those wind turbines. Everybody, is it just me or have I got supervision that I can see right through those bottom of those wind turbines? That seems to be the bottom that shows see-through. Your wind turbines show refraction, dude.
Then if you magnify that photo, those blades would be distorted. Magnify that one. Find distortions.
Why would the blades be distorted?
Because refraction.
You do know you're looking upwards at that mountain peak, correct? And you do understand the refraction band is only so high.
How high are those
325
winter?
meters.
Exactly. Do you think the refraction band is 325 meters high?
No. Thanks
There
for
we go.
supporting my object. Yay! Thank you. Thank
You
you.
just supported everything I said.
Oh,
You think there's no refraction on top of that mountain?
I never said that.
That's exactly what you're claiming, because you
I
are
said
saying
there's no distortions in my photo like that one Ben posted. That's what I'm saying.
there is definitely distortions because I can see right through them. I would not be able to see through them if there wasn't distortions, Tommy.
What are you seeing right through?
Okay, let me just save the image. Give me 2 minutes to quickly.
Yeah, sure. Norwegian again, jabba.
So anyway, how is Sweden?
Oh, you're disappearing.
I said, anyway, how is Sweden?
I'm from Norway.
Oh, you're Norway. Oh, that's cool. Were you born there?
Yeah.
Almost done. So what got you first into this flat earth debate talk?
A little over 3 years ago, I stumbled across a video of D. Marble. He said the earth is flat. So the first half year I was a bit, what do you call it, baffled on how people could think that. So I watched a lot of flat earth videos, and they said do your own research and all of that. And half a year later, I started to make models in 3D on SketchUp to see how this works. And none of it worked. And then I started to go out and do observations, and yeah, here I am.
Okay. That's cool.
Nothing I have ever done match anything on a flat surface. Absolutely nothing. So I've
And
done
yet
my
it-
research the hard way, pretty much all over the place. And I really don't see any flat anything.
But you would agree with we can explain things with perspective.
Perspective, yeah, but not the rest of them. Perspective
So-
doesn't hide anything.
But then how can I demonstrate things hiding because of
Well,
perspective? then?
to clarify myself, perspective isn't hiding anything that is not already hidden.
Occultation is perspective based.
No. Then again, just as I said, if someone can do that observation with that yellow sign one more time in that hallway, that would be
Very good.
awesome.
Okay.
I don't have access to a hallway that large. So, yeah.
Okay. Can you
Yes,
see
yes.
there? There's some distortion at those blades.
You can still see the blades pretty damn
Yeah, but
well.
you can see through them though, correct?
You don't see through them, but are very thin and very far away, but you don't see through them.
But you
They are not
understand
bent.
that? Do you understand because of the refraction, it has caused some diffraction? You understand that?
They are moving. The blades are moving. So
Don't worry about the blades. I'm talking about the bottom of those wind turbines. You understand because of the refraction.
You have a
Because
little
of
bit
the-
on the bottom there, yeah, but that doesn't hide
Okay,
anything.
thank you. So you would recant saying you don't have any refraction in your image.
I said I didn't have like that, like Bev's pictures.
Okay, but you
I
do.
said I have a little
You
bit,
have.
yeah, but not that.
Okay, sharp. Okay, cool. So you do have.
A little
Now,
bit, yeah.
like
Again,
I was
if it
saying,
was like Bev's, those you wouldn't see the blades because the blades will be curved like that Black Swan oil rig.
at 350 meters high. So again, you're saying the refraction band goes 350 meters high.
No, I didn't say that.
Well, you just made a claim 2 seconds ago saying that if refracted, those
Yeah, because
would
the
also.
refraction happens. Because the refraction happens between the blades and me. that goes over
Well,
the
it's
curvature.
it's definitely not. Sorry, can you give me just quickly 2 minutes? I just want to say night to my wife quickly.
Yeah, sure.
Sure, thanks.
No problem. Family first.
Yep.
Real life before
Thanks, man.
YouTube, always.
Definitely. Be back now.
Yep. Bev, the Earth is not flat. Thank you. Well, guys.
We are coming up on an hour and a half.
Yeah. The person who had that photo of that that long hallway and the yellow sign, is that person in the chat here?
Yeah, I think so, but he's working.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a school corridor. Surely you can go to a school or a hospital or something like that.
We don't have that big schools here in Norway. But anyway, that floor seems pretty flat and it's nice and clean and everything. So if that can be done again with a camera at the floor, even an iPhone camera at the floor, and move that yellow sign all the way back, that would be awesome.
You think it's possible then for a flat to be a thing?
If the bottom of that sign, you should see through that little hole in the bottom there. If that floor isn't 100% flat, probably that hole will be disappearing, but not more. But,
so you still hold out for the chance of there being such a thing as a flat?
Nope.
No. So you're asking for something that you don't personally believe is possible.
I'm asking for someone to demonstrate this in a real way with a flat floor, not with that bump on the floor that he had last time.
Oh, so the one that you say is a flat floor, you don't think is a flat floor, or you're asking somebody else to find a flat floor for you, but you don't believe they're possible anyway.
That floor looks pretty damn flat.
Oh. So you do, like, you are holding out for the chance of there being a flat?
No.
Oh. So you're saying it looks flat then?
That floor looks flat.
Yeah, so
it looks flat.
Could it be flat then?
The floor, yeah, it could be flat. It looks pretty damn flat, yeah.
How would you measure flat?
Leveling?
Pardon?
Leveling.
With a level? Really?
No,
so you think levels are flat?
Leveling, as in we talked about last time with the surveying.
Yeah. Okay. So there is such a thing as a tool that can establish a horizontal, right? And then it's up to you to measure from that horizontal to make sure that the floor would be flat in relation to the horizontal, like level line.
But that floor looks a whole lot flatter than the one in Flatzoid's video.
Okay. So if there was a flat floor to you, what would that show?
Then it will show when you have that camera lens all the way to the floor, even an iPhone lens just a few millimeters off the floor, you should still see through the bottom hole of that yellow sign all the way out on the end.
How far would that other thing have to move away for you to not be able to see through it?
As far as you possibly can. Yeah. So that hallway seems to be pretty far.
Right, so are you presuming that if somebody were to take that picture again, but with one of that yellow sign, where would you, like, how would you lay out the picture that you're asking somebody else to take?
Again, move that yellow sign all the way back as far as possible.
Right, could there be one there already?
I don't know.
What would you say if there was another one of those signs right at the end of that corridor?
Whatever say, I will see the big photo of it, but yeah.
What would you say if there was already one there, but you couldn't see it in that picture?
If it's done the right way with the camera all the way down at the floor and that yellow sign isn't visible, well, hard to say. Redman posted a video. That is a garage where we have floors going up and down for water runoff. That's pretty clear from her second here.
Tommy, you almost answered Bev's question. You were so close to saying that there would be optical obstruction.
No, there wouldn't be. Physical, probably, yeah. Again, I said that floor looks pretty damn flat. I'm not going to run away back on that one, sure, but yeah, I don't think it would hide anything. There's what do you call this, thresholds, doorstep, something. It doesn't seem to be anything of that anyway either, so I think I should see the whole thing.
You can just look at the floor and say, that's flat.
Oh, I didn't say that's flat. It looks flat.
Okay.
Yeah,
But then when you look out across the ocean, it doesn't look flat.
Oh, because it doesn't support anything flat.
It doesn't fit the model. Yeah.
It fits my model perfect.
Yeah, model dictates.
Yeah.
It's back.
Welcome back, Flash.
So Tommy,
Okay, guys.
did you have any other questions?
Mostly I would like to quantify with some real numbers, but you didn't want to do that.
Let me ask you a question, Tommy. You don't mind Flatzoid?
No, it's fine. We're not getting anywhere
I
anyway.
mind because now it's one-on-one again, but
I
don't want to go back to that gangbang we had the first time.
yeah.
No. Just a simple question. You said that's a garage. How big do you think that garage is? Can you tell?
I have no idea.
You know what an 18-wheeler is? A semi?
I'm in Norway. We have probably the same stuff, but 18, 19 meters or something.
You know that garage right there, you can get about 50 of those in there, no problem.
Okay.
So that's very far. It's very, very far away as far as where I'm looking at down that hallway, garage way.
Okay.
Would you say you can at least fit about 10 at the behind each other in that line?
Where
Redmond?
are we going with this?
Yeah, you can get about 10 straight shot.
Awesome. Okay. Okay. So Tommy, the point is that is a very, very long flat surface. If let's say we put those 10 trucks, 18 wheelers behind each other, do you think you're going to see the same detail at the back 10 truck that you do in front?
If that's a big garage, it has ups and downs to let water run, so that's not flat.
Would you be able to prove it's not flat, or is it just the deduction you make
First, you need to
because
prove
you
it's
don't want
flat.
because you don't want it to be flat?
First, you need to prove it's flat.
I never made a claim that it's not flat. You're making the claim it's not flat.
Who was that supposed to? Redman. First, Redman needs to prove it's flat.
Say again.
Redman, you work there, correct?
No, I make deliveries there.
Okay. You would agree that's very flat, or very close to flat.
Close to flat.
Yes, I would say it's very flat due to the kind of building it is that I go to. It's like one of those. It's called the World Congress Center. So it's one of
So
those
you have
places.
measured it to be flat, or does it look flat?
It's one of those places. It's almost like a government building where they hold events in and stuff like that. This facility is fairly large, so I'm pretty sure that concrete floor is flat.
You're pretty sure.
Okay.
So in
Okay, so
between
Tommy-
those in between those parkings and lines of driving there, are there drains there to have the water run away?
Let me see what you're talking about. Give me just a second.
Tommy, would you say that looking at that, even if it's not 100% flat, it's relatively flat enough to conclude that it's not curved?
You hide something 5 centimeters off the floor at the far end, yes.
Okay. You do understand the
Again,
difference
we're
between
not talking about
you do
5
understand
centimeters.
you do understand the difference between slopes and curve, right?
You understand standing high above the surface and not at it and looking at something higher,
I
not at the
just
ground
I
floor.
asked
I
the
really
question.
don't see why this has anything to do, because again, you're down at the floor.
I asked the question. Do you
Yeah.
understand the difference between a slope and a curve? And
Please explain.
so, so you would say, are you saying they have curves in that construction of that parking lot, or do they have slopes for the water?
Oh, it's the word games and semantics again. It goes up and down. If you have drains for water, it's
That's
not flat.
not what I'm asking, Tommy. It's really simple.
What difference
they
does
have
it make what it is? What you call
Do
it?
they
It doesn't
do
make
they
a
have
difference.
do they have slopes for the water, or do they have curves for the water?
It's not flat. That's the point.
Why are you avoiding the question?
Because you're probably playing word games and not going for that. It doesn't matter what you call it. They are there. It's not flat.
This whole hour and a half we've been discussing. You have not really answered me anything I've asked yet. You have not demonstrated anything. You've just hand waved, missed everything. And when I ask you a simple question, you want to obfuscate.
Yeah. The difference is if you have the camera at the bottom of a slope or top of that curve. So if you have the camera at the bottom of a slope, everything will obscure it. If you have the top of that curve, nothing will be obscured. That's the difference.
Again, I ask, do you know the difference between a slope and a curve?
Just explain it.
That's a simple yes or no question, Tommy.
If you're talking about bump up or bump down, yes. But English is not my first language. Please understand that.
Ek praat Afrikaans, Tommy, en ek verstaan hy Engels 100%.
Vi kan snakke i hvert fall språket driter jeg langt faen i.
Great. Okay. So, we both speak different languages.
Yes.
Now,
so if you're asking for definitions,
slope. So again, it's a yes or no question. Do you understand the difference between slope and curve? So it's a no.
No.
So it's a no then. Okay, great. You understand? A slope is elevation change on a flat surface. Do you get that? It's not curving away. It's sloping downwards or sloping upwards.
Okay.
This is how, okay. So when they put, let's say, a degree slope or a half a degree slope for the water to go out, there's going to be no curve. So that's not really going to make any obstruction. It's not going to make any obstruction when doing an observation, because you are going to be following with that slope, because your angle of incidence is going to follow that slope. Now, if it was curved, you can only follow to that curve so much before it curves too much to be able to see. Understand? So when it comes to these, when they build these structures, they don't build curves into them. They build slopes. So it's still a flat surface. It's just sloped for the water. So that would show you that you've just debunked your argument, because it would still be flat with the slope, so we would still be able to do our demonstration.
So word games are debunking now. Sure, yeah. As I just said, if you have the camera at the bottom of that slope or whatever, it will obscure stuff. If you have the camera on top of that slope or curve stuff, nothing will be obscured. So if you put that camera at the bottom of one of these drain lines or something in a garage, of course objects will be obscured.
And what happens if you are looking at the same angle as the slope?
What? Looking at the
What
same angle as what?
If you are perpendicular with the slope, you're looking at exactly the same angle of the slope.
Please stop the word games. Please stop the word games. Oh.
What word games? It's simple, basic.
No, it isn't, because your mind is playing different tricks than mine.
I thought you want to go to geometry. Now I'm giving you geometry, and very basic geometry, by the way, and you can't even answer this simple thing.
Because
if you are perpendicular to the slope, if you're perpendicular to the slope and you are looking at exactly that angle as the slope is going, would you agree that you are looking straight and level with that slope?
You are 14 guys in the chat there talk about this all day long, every single time.
I'm not even in the chat. I'm not even looking at the chat. I'm literally just talking to you at the moment.
Yeah.
So.
But this is your 14 guys language. I don't speak that language.
What 14 guys language? I'm talking English to you now. Literally just English.
Seriously, you're not.
Is perpendicular not part of the English language? Is slope not part of the English language? Is
yes, it's a part of
level.
Language, but the way you put the words together in a sentence is not English.
This is the dumbest straw man I've ever heard in my life.
Oh my God, I've got to say thank you so much for that. I've been saying that for a long time. We actually do speak a foreign language. Sorry, I'll shut up now.
When you're talking to something perpendicular to a slope isn't a straight line. If it's something sloping away from you and you don't have a definition of a point in that slope, how can you have something perpendicular to that?
Okay, I'm going to go back to 2 minutes ago. Do you know the difference between slope and curved? No, I don't. Please explain it to me. Now you want to tell me after I explained it to you that I'm wrong. How does that work?
I didn't say you were wrong. I just said don't speak
You just
English.
told me 10 seconds ago that I'm wrong.
Well, as I said, in that garage that we were talking about, a photo, the difference is if he has a camera on the bottom of one of these drain something, or on the top of it. That's all I said before you, when you were back talking to your wife. When you came back.
That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
A slope doesn't curve.
The difference is if he has the camera at the bottom or on the top of these ups and downs in that garage.
That's the thing. A slope doesn't curve. A slope doesn't curve, Tommy. That's your problem. A slope is still a straight line. Yes, exactly. So if you are looking perpendicular to that slope, doesn't matter if you're looking at a 70-degree slope. If you're looking 70 degrees and perpendicular to that 70 degree, it's still flat and straight. You understand?
You know what? I think we'll end it here. This is just mumble jumble and word games. I don't do that. Sorry.
Okay. Well, thank you, Tommy. Anyway, for the chat. I think.
Yeah. Next time, bring some numbers to back up your claims. That would be great.
Wow, you haven't brought anything except now my globe cult, but okay.
Sure. Right. Well, to the rest of the guys, Clary as your chat room. Thank you. This was just as civil as last time, and yeah, keep it that way.
What was the point you were trying to make with the slope? I realize you never got into it.
Because
what were
you guys talking. Yeah.
Like, who cares if slopes in math are straight lines?
Thank you so much for having me on again. I really appreciate it. And,
okay. Thanks, Tommy.
All right, Tommy. Yeah,
cheers, Tommy.
Transferred, but yeah, still I'm here.
Have a good night.
Okay.
All right.
Cheers, Tommy. Thanks, dude. Bye. Good night.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nidhugg. Wait a minute, Nidhugg. You want to just finish off that problem with the slope? Who were you asking who had a problem with the
No,
slope?
I was just wondering where you guys were going with that. I mean, what was the issue with a slope being a straight line?
He thinks a slope is a curve because he thinks the curve obstructs. Only curve can obstruct. That's his problem. So I had to try and break it down as basic as I can to him. That a slope is still a straight line.
For one, he assumed there were drains in that floor, and if you put the camera at the bottom of the slope where the drain is, it would obstruct.
Exactly.
He just straw man. It was ridiculous.
Well, I thought that was a little bit strange because if the water would flow down, then it wouldn't be level, right? Is he saying that if the water didn't flow anywhere, then it would be level and flat? Or would he assume that because the water was there would be a curve in it? That's why I was asking him, is there a possibility of flatness at all? Because he seems really mixed up. Is that what you were trying to get at, Nidhugg?
Nope, I was just trying to explain why he couldn't understand that a slope in geometry is just a straight line.
No, he understands. He's just doing what he did from the start. Doesn't want to answer anything. Obfuscates because he came in here thinking I know nothing. That was his point.
Straight lines definitely don't curve, do they?
Exactly.
But what was you?
Nidhugg. Straight lines definitely don't curve, do they?
Okay.
No, I was just asking you to confirm, right? We need to know who we're talking to. Straight lines don't curve, do they?
Yeah, no, straight lines are straight.
Sweet, with zero curvature in any direction. Yeah? Zero curvature. Unscalable. You can't scale it to get a curve, can you?
You've nailed what a straight line is.
Brilliant. Now, just as a matter of fact, do you think there's a possibility for you to have a radius so large that the circumference would be a straight line?
Even a radius so large that the circumference is a straight line.
Yeah.
By definition, a circumference isn't a straight line.
Okay. So there's no chance of you having a circumference that is a straight line then, just because of the size of the scale of a
I mean, it's
radius.
made up, like if you break it down, especially when you deal in Blender or any program that deals with any kind of polygon, circles are just infinitesimally small straight lines. No. A
circle isn't a polygon, is it?
As I said, the degree of complexity and the amount of lines that
that's in a computer program. We're not talking about that. We're talking about reality.
You brought it up. We're talking about reality. It's because the computer program can't make a true circle. It's points only, which turn into lines.
That's the truth. You can't measure a curvature, can you, in reality, because you need a straight line. You need 2 points.
To measure curvature? What are you talking about?
Yeah. How would you measure curvature then?
Yeah, I want to know too.
Grab a basketball.
Yeah.
You can measure you can cut it in half, measure the diameter, and
you can cut a basketball in half. What would that do? Mm-hmm. Surely that'd pop it, wouldn't it?
You can cut a sphere in half. You can either take me literally, or you can understand the concept.
No, we're trying to understand what you're talking about. You're talking about a solid figure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's not a basketball. Let's get something solid sphere.
A solid sphere, then.
Okay.
You can cut it in half. You take the diameter, and you can get the circumference from that.
Yeah, it's a straight line, though, isn't it? It's a diameter.
The diameter is, the circumference is.
Yeah. So but the circumference is a relationship of a straight line.
It's a nonsense statement.
Well, go on then. Let's say the circumference is 30 centimeters. Is that the measure of curvature?
around it and with respect to the radius, sure.
No, that's just a straight line distance, isn't it? 30 centimeters. That's not a curvature, right? Is it? That's just a distance. Straight line distance.
It is the circumference. If you have an issue with the definition of what a circumference is.
I was asking you, how do you measure curvature, not how do you measure a straight line? Like
I gave you how to measure the circumference.
How? Go on. How was that to measure a circumference? How did you do it again? You chopped a ball in half, did you?
Sure. And then you take the diameter.
And then you calculate the circumference. That's not actually measure, is it?
You can. You can also take a string, start it at one end, wrap it around.
Yeah, you wouldn't need to chop the ball in half to do that, would you? I mean, why didn't you come up with that first if you're on about measuring?
You can take a pin, put it in a ball, tie a string around it, wrap a great circle path all the way to the opposite end of the string, and then measure the distance of the string.
Okay, so how would you express curvature then? Just simply to anybody listening.
I don't know what you mean. How would I express?
Well, we just had a distance. You told us you would give us a distance. That's 30 centimeters. I mean, how well does that express curvature to you?
It's just a number. It doesn't express curvature.
Okay, well, how would you express curvature then? You know, if you were, in order for you to tell somebody about curvature, how would you?
I would say that I just gave you two methods that you could find out if the surface or an object that you are holding is curved, and you can use those measurements that way to do that.
Well, no, but that's what we weren't doing. We weren't deciding whether stuff is curved or not. You do that surely by measuring a triangle, wouldn't you? You Gaussian curvature check.
Sure, you can use distances on points on the surface as well.
So how many angles a triangle has, isn't it? So you know which space you're dealing in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And since we've only got proof of a triangle having 180 degrees, then what sort of surface do you think that would prove?
Triangles in Euclidean geometry are 180 degrees. That's fine.
Mm-hmm. Planar surface, right? Plane surface. 2D.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brilliant. So how would you express curvature then? Again, I'd do it through a triangle, forming a triangle and measuring the angles, as Gauss did when he wanted to express.
You can draw 3 90-degree angles on a sphere though, and you can make a triangle.
Can you?
Yeah.
You can draw a triangle with 3 90 degrees. Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's easy.
What's your definition of an angle?
Angle is the separation between two lines.
Straight lines?
No, just two lines.
Oh. An angle, though, is you need 2 straight lines to measure an angle. I mean, even I know that. Most people know that.
Just need lines.
No, straight lines. Have you ever seen a protractor?
Mm-hmm.
Straight lines, aren't they? Like you divide a circle up into 360 degrees, or you can go even more if you want. But the actual dividing line would all be radii, wouldn't they? In between each one of those angles, they're straight lines. A radius is definitely a straight line, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So that's an angle.
The requirement that the lines have to be straight isn't true, because you can measure an angle on at where 2 points intersect, and those 2 lines can eventually converge out and not be straight, and you'll still have measured an angle at that particular point.
Yeah, angle is the inclination of one straight line or plane to another straight line or plane.
Just line doesn't have to be straight. Remember.
Yeah, they do have to be straight.
They don't.
Yes, they do.
Okay, cite a source that says that then.
What do you want? Euclidean geometry?
I want a source that says lines have to be straight in order to measure angles between them.
Oh, I'll give you a definition of an angle. Okay.
I already know what an angle is.
Mathematical. Okay, then parts of an angle.
That clearly states lines must be straight for you to be able to measure.
Yeah,
an
the
angle.
corner point of an angle is called the vertex, and.
Bev, can I ask him a question?
Yeah, go.
Nidhugg, have you ever held a 90-degree triangle before?
Yep.
Can you show me where the curve is there?
There is no curve on a 90-degree triangle.
There we go. Thank you.
There's no curve in any triangle, is there? Because the
Congratulations
definition
on
of a
not making
triangle is triangle, three angles, and it has to have three straight
I'll tell you
sides.
what, I can take a metal triangle that it has two straight lines, and I can take a hammer and I can smash one end, and I'll still measure an angle that's 90 degrees, despite one of the ends not being a straight line anymore.
Then there won't be 90 degrees anymore.
Well, what
But
would
it
you
will be
use to
90
measure it?
degrees.
How would you
No
measure
matter
this?
what angle you measure, you
if-
will still have measured an angle, which is the only point I've made.
Do you know what a vertex is?
Yes, it's where two lines intersect.
And where's the circle there?
Do you think a circle will exist where two lines intersect?
I asked, your vertex is where two lines intersect. Are those two lines straight, or are they curved? Are they curved lines, or are they straight lines?
I don't know. You haven't given me enough information.
This is the whole point. Everything can only be done on straight lines.
Well, that's incorrect.
No, wait a minute. Before we go any further, I've had a load of people have said this. So we've cited Euclidean geometry definitions, the foundations of mathematics, the definition of an angle between two straight lines, right?
Nope.
There's definitions within maths that prove a triangle, and it has to have three straight sides to have a 180 degrees. You cannot measure an angle between a curve. That you need, it's a must, it's like a logical must situation. You have to have straight lines in order to form an angle. It's the basic foundations of mathematics and logic, having a straight line that is straight.
You can easily draw three 90-degree angles on a basketball and have them intersect. as a
Basketball
triangle.
has curved surfaces.
Yeah, I know it's curved, and you can have three 90-degree angles on it.
No,
and they
you
form a
cannot.
triangle. It will divide it into eighths. Yes, you can.
I'll switch my camera on.
Nidhugg, I put something in the live chat.
Who does that in reality?
Nidhugg, I put something in the live chat. Parts of an angle. Look at those two arms. Are those two arms curved, or are they straight?
The parts that they've shown you are straight. Why?
That's your vertex, correct? Where the two straight lines are meeting.
Yeah, where those lines meet. Yep.
Okay. Now, if you have to change the line to a curve, you think you're still going to be able to get an angle?
Yep.
How are you going to get the angle if it's going to be subtly different from one end to the other?
Because you can measure an angle at a point source. And it doesn't matter if the surface is curved or straight. The point at which you are measuring the angle can be measured.
You do know if that bottom line was curved, it would be touching further than just the point, correct?
You have no way of knowing if that bottom line is curved or not. You only see a small segment of it.
You're going totally against everything that geometry stands for. You do know that, correct?
You are incorrect. You are very much incorrect.
These
You guys,
definitions-
you guys throw out spherical geometry in its entirety to try and make your points.
Sorry.
I agree with you.
Spherical geometry.
I thought you
is
were.
based-
Well, wait a minute. I thought you were drawing lines on a ball.
Yeah, that's spherical geometry.
No. That's Euclidean geometry, mate. A ball is a sphere, and a sphere is a Euclidean shape. It's three-dimensional.
A circle is a Euclidean shape.
No. A sphere is a Euclidean shape.
A sphere, especially when you're talking about surface measurements on that sphere, use spherical geometry.
No, if you're drawing it on a ball, like you said, you are doing Euclidean geometry.
Okay.
Do you want me to show you where? I mean, I can't get my camera on. I can only get it on for the
Go ahead and cite
YouTube.
a reference that says you don't use spherical geometry when you're talking about spheres.
Well, do you want me to show you? Like I can. I'll put the camera
I
on, but
want
you'll
you
have to watch
cite
the.
source that backs up your claim. I don't want you
What
to
are
show
you
me.
talking about? Cite what source?
I want you to
What
cite
claim?
a source that says you don't use spherical geometry. when
No,
doing
what I said
measurements in
was,
a sphere.
if you are drawing lines on a ball, in reality, that ball is a Euclidean shape. You are not doing spherical geometry. You are just drawing lines on a Euclidean shape. You don't think the surface of a sphere is two-dimensional, do you?
It most certainly is.
You do.
Nidhugg, do you understand that you're using an X, Y, and Z system?
Can I just get that? Did you say that you think the surface of a sphere is two-dimensional?
What do you mean X, Y, and Z?
There we go. Well done. Come on, Nidhugg. Is it?
Coordinates on. Hey.
He's talking X, Y, Z. He's talking 3D. It's the same question.
About coordinates on a sphere.
It's the same question.
The Earth, we use latitude and longitude. What's the Z coordinate for latitude?
That's two-dimensional coordinate system. Right, well...
Exactly. So it's not X, Y, and Z now, is it?
Yes, a sphere in Euclidean space is X, Y, and Z. Now, can we get back to... do you think... Here we go. Is your training kicking in now?
Yeah, stop obfuscating the point.
No, just a simple question. It's a simple question. It will sort us... We'll all know where we all stand. I think the surface of a sphere is three-dimensional because it is a three-dimensional shape. Do you think the surface of a sphere, like I'm holding one now, do you think that is two-dimensional?
It is two-dimensional because we only use latitude and longitude coordinates to find any location on a sphere.
Wow.
Oh, wow is right because it's true.
You think?
Please go dig a hole.
Think you're a flat earther? I think you are a flat earther, mate.
Longitude coordinate, yes or no?
Nidhugg, are you a flat earther?
Does digging a hole?
I'm just checking. Just checking. Are you a flat earther?
Is that relevant to my question?
Yeah, but you seem to think the surface of a sphere is two-dimensional. I'm just checking. Are you a flat earther?
The surface of a sphere is two-dimensional. It's geometrically necessitated, which is why we use latitude and longitude coordinates. You can't get around it.
I just got a question for Nid. Can I get a question
Yeah,
from Nidhugg?
I'm done.
Nidhugg, can you bend a plane?
In spherical geometry, yes.
I'm done as well.
I'm sorry you guys were sick the day they taught this at school.
Nidhugg, so you say you understand Cartesian coordinates, correct? Hello?
There you go. It took me literally half a second to look it up. Spherical geometry is the geometry of a two-dimensional surface of a sphere. Read that again. Two-dimensional surface of a sphere.
Sphere is not two-dimensional.
In this context, the word sphere refers only to the two-dimensional surface, and other terms like ball or solid sphere are used for the surface together with its three-dimensional interior, aka the volume of the sphere. The fact that you guys ignore this entirely is not a problem.
Do you know what volume is? That would make it 3D.
What three-dimensional objects have.
Wow, so not 2D then, 3D. Congratulations.
Read surface of a sphere is not three-dimensional now, is it?
Really? So there's not hills, there's not valleys, there's not, if you dig a hole. So you think a sphere has not got length, breadth, and width? Is that what you're telling me?
The surface of a sphere uses an X and Y coordinate system. When you start talking about height or change from elevation, then you aren't talking about the surface of a sphere.
Okay, great. So where do you stand on and measure this if you're not taking any elevation because you observe from an elevation? This is reality, mate. We live in a 3D world.
Just fine. You're just not talking about the surface of a sphere. You're talking about above the surface or below the surface.
So 3D then, because you're observing it from a 3D standpoint, correct?
Again, the surface is two-dimensional. Above and below it is perfectly acceptable, but that's not the surface. That's
Show me
above
a
the surface
show me a
or below the
two-dimensional
surface.
surface.
Can I jump
Show
in?
me-
Can I
This isn't
jump in?
semantical
Ask a
nonsense. This
question?
is reality.
All right, Nidhugg, I
Yeah,
have a
go
question.
ahead.
I have a question for you just real quick. If you draw a circle on a piece of paper and you look down at that circle, is one point on that circle closer to you than another point?
I have no clue what you're talking about. What do you mean 1 point closer to me than another point?
Okay. Draw a circle in your mind on a piece of paper or on a whiteboard, right? Okay, how about a whiteboard, right? Draw a circle on a whiteboard and stand in front of it.
Sure.
Is one point of that circle closer to you than another point on that circle?
I am equidistant from the board, so no.
Okay, so that would be a no. Okay, great. Now, hold up a basketball in front of you in your hand.
Sure.
Is one point on the surface of that basketball closer to you than another?
Yes.
It's three-dimensional. Thank you.
Nope.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Incorrect. By the exact same logic, I can stand onto the side of that circle I drew, and the point of the line closest to my eyeball would technically be closer than the opposite side.
Okay, why don't you do that in real life then? Do it.
What do you mean? Why don't I do that in real life? What are you talking about?
You fucking can't do what you just said, man.
I don't live on a circle, dumbass.
We don't live on a sphere either,
Yes,
dumbass.
we do.
Okay, great.
Well,
Now,
wait a minute.
Listen.
Can we just check though? Because he said before there's no vertical component to it. So what's an even altitude?
An even alt? What do you mean? What is an even altitude?
Well, that's off the surface, right? An altitude is above the surface, away from the surface. What would you call an even altitude? What would that sort of shape would that be? How would you define an even altitude away from the surface?
Well, if you're maintaining altitude from, I don't know, sea level, which is 0.
Just an even
altitude would not deviate up or down from 0. So if you're at 40,000 feet, then you maintain a 40,000 foot altitude.
Okay, so what would you call that though? Is that a circle?
It's only a circle if you go in one great circle and you don't deviate left or right.
So it is a circle and an even altitude. You have that as being, because we were just talking about the 2D surface of the sphere before, and you said that only applies to the surface. It doesn't apply to anything off the surface. Well, that would be altitude, and you seem to think that is also a circle and spherical, don't you?
Sure, you can be at 40,000 foot altitude, and as long as you don't go up to 4,001 or down to 39,999, then you maintain an even altitude.
But you got a problem there, Nidhugg, because you, as the observer, are living in a 3D plane, looking down. Your observation angle makes it vertical.
Living in a 3D plane is a nonsense statement.
So your eyes are not lodged in your head, and you are not standing above a surface. Is that what you're telling me?
Living in a 3D plane is an oxymoronical nonsense statement. We live in a three-dimensional space.
Have a look in the live chat, number 3, for the definition. Just run your eyes over it. Have a quick glance.
I don't care about your obfuscated definition of life.
No. It says it's a horizontal. I'll read it out in case anybody else can't read it. It's a horizontal condition, especially equilibrium of a fluid marked by a horizontal surface of even altitude. So you're at odds with those guys. Oh, wait a minute. It says water seeks its own level as an even altitude being a horizontal condition. So horizontal isn't a circle, is it? You can't have horizontal.
With flying level with respect to the ground. No one has an issue with that.
That says horizontal.
So then it's 3D.
Horizontal condition.
Sorry,
Actually,
but
there's an approximate horizontal line with respect to altitude.
Straight line circle again.
But Bev, is he not saying then he's flying over a 2D surface even though he's got elevation?
Yeah,
Is that what he's trying to say?
that's why I was asking him if he's a
Again,
flat
you
earther.
guys can obfuscate around it, but the surface of a sphere is two-dimensional, and this is backed up by geometry. You can look it up.
No, it's not.
That would be a plane. In
Here, I'll
geometry, a
explain.
plane is two-dimensional, and that's a flat surface. That's why I was asking you, because you seem to think that a horizontal
Here, hang on, I'll
condition
read it
is
again.
also
Spherical
curved. You
geometry
seem
is
to
the
just be
geometry of two-dimensional
imagining
surface of a
flat
sphere.
surfaces curving.
Two-dimensional surface of a sphere. Wow, that's
think-
spherical geometry.
I think you're the flat
Look it
earther,
up.
mate.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't
Can
make
I ask you a
flat
question,
earther. It just
Nidhugg?
makes
Wow.
you understand
This
that
is
the
amazing.
two-dimensional surface of a sphere is two-dimensional, and that's not an issue. This is
Can I
backed
get
up
a
by
question
facts.
in
We
there
use
to you,
latitude and
Nidhugg?
longitude to find any point, any place, anywhere on Earth. We don't use the Z coordinate system for latitude and longitude. This is backed up by fact and reality.
Okay, let's talk some reality. Can we have a drop or a hump without elevation change?
Yes, easily.
Yes.
Otherwise planes would fly off into space, and they don't.
Okay, I'll ask you a follow-up question, because that was the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. But okay,
Well, you're dumb. What can I say?
have you heard of the twin boat paradox?
Nope.
I'll give you a small little run. We have two
You
boats.
can-
You're
you
on
can-
one boat. Your friend is on another boat. You're 5 miles away. I'll make this short. You're 5 miles apart. It's calm water. You're looking at each other. You're looking at the water. What does the water look to you like? Is there a drop? Is there a hump? Or is it something else?
Looks like water, and it looks like probably at that distance, part of the bottom of the boat will be covered up.
So there's a hump in between you and the other boat.
Nope. I just said part of the boat will be covered up. I didn't call it a hump.
But what would cover it?
The very fact that the Earth is curved. And as you go
So
away
there's
from something on a curved Earth, it disappears bottom up. It's not a hard
So there's
concept.
elevated water between
Not
you.
elevated water. The elevation's the same. It's just a
he
fact
used-
of the geometry.
He used the word curve instead of hump. He's using the
Exactly,
word
yeah.
curve instead of hump, so it's the same
So-
idea.
Yeah,
Do
it's
you-
the
do you see
2D
the
plane curve.
conundrum you're in here, my friend? Do you see the?
Zero conundrum. It's just you guys not understanding it, which again isn't my problem.
Is that
Wow.
you? Is that you, Tim? Again. Oh.
I don't know. When you guys lose your arguments in totality, you start asking me if that's you, Tim, or is that you, Bob? What's the relevance?
I don't know, Bob. Is that is what
He
other
actually
people
looks-
call
he
you,
actually
Bob?
sounds like Lewis.
Lewis.
Sackett.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, yeah.
It does sound a bit like
Yeah,
Lewis.
but we're not losing.
When
We're not,
you're-
doesn't
we're not
matter.
losing, Lewis. We're not
Losing? He
losing.
just said. Hold on. He just said that we can.
Like,
He just
what does
said
it
we
matter
can have
who
a
I am?
hump or a
I
drop
could
without
be a
elevation
street
change.
thug, or I could be a PhD. What does it matter? You can't answer the arguments I presented before you.
You're
so instead you have
definitely
to ask
not a
me who I
PhD,
am.
bro.
Oh, I don't know.
You said
You've seen
Bro.
PhD Tony. I mean,
Okay, all this stupidity from the globe side has made me tired. I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
yeah, nicely done,
That's my-
Flatzoid.
Alright,
Well
brother.
done. Cheers.
You
Go,
killed
go,
it.
look
You killed it.
up, go look up spherical geometry. It'll help you out.
We have. That's
Yeah,
why we
yeah.
can debunk
just
you.
real quick.
Because you
You're
Oh my
roboting.
Wow.
Whoever that is, you're
Yeah.
roboting. That's horrible. Sound like me.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay,
what is
so-
your answer to the image I posted at 5:09? Just tell me what's wrong with it.
509. I don't know. 10.
Aren't there
What's
different
that?
rules for those geometries?
It's a two-dimensional surface. Yeah, yeah. Like
Yeah,
we all know what a two-dimensional surface is, don't we? Length times breadth. Yeah, it's a plane surface. We know that.
Yeah, latitude and longitude. Fancy fucking that. Good
No.
Lord.
You're missing the point here. It's a two-dimensional surface. It's flat.
Two-dimensional surface. Yeah,
Yes.
there you go.
Flat. Plain
Doesn't have to be
surface.
flat.
Yes, it
That's
is.
why
That's what two-dimensional is. I'm amazed that you don't understand this basic geometry.
That sound it out with me, Bev. Spherical geometry, not.
I know what a sphere is. It's a Euclidean shape. It's a three-dimensional Euclidean
Because
shape.
it seems like you don't when you say that.
I definitely do.
The surface of a sphere is three-dimensional, which you've said multiple
It
times.
is. A sphere is
But
three-dimensional
now
shape.
that you've read
Dude.
the link I gave you, you agree it's a two-dimensional
No.
surface.
I'm saying that you don't understand what that is saying.
I
It's
100%
two-dimensional.
Which is why I've said we only use latitude and longitude, aka
Which are-
a two-dimensional coordinate
Yes,
system,
again.
to find any place on
Like
Earth.
a
on
grid
three-dimensional
coordinate
globe.
system.
See, I understand perfectly. It's you, moron.
Why
that
is
doesn't.
this? Why
I
is
don't
this
know, he's
person
gone
speaking
shouty.
like a child?
I don't know. He's getting triggered. You can tell.
He sounds like he's about 12.
Mhm.
Aw. Yeah, do
And
I?
if you are actually 12, to be honest,
am
you
I
shouldn't be
12?
on
I
this
don't know.
server.
I
know,
might
you
be
sound
12.
like it by the way you speak. See,
Yeah.
oh, everyone can do
How
that.
does it
Oh,
feel to be
we are.
less intelligent than a 12-year-old then?
You're saying you're intelligent? No, dude. I may have mislabeled you as 12. I think you're probably fetus level. Actually, that's probably more intelligent than you. See, it's easy to insult
This is
you.
much better
Easy.
than attacking my argument. Let's
It's
attack me.
absolutely easy to
Let's attack
act
me.
like
That's
you.
way
Yeah.
better than floundering around because your argument got blown up.
You ever gonna
What else?
speaking
What else
like
about
a child?
me is wrong?
Can you
What
speak like a grown-up for
My-
5 minutes?
Can I speak like a grown-up for 5 minutes? Why is this all about me? Why can't you answer
This
my
is
argument?
the globe defense.
Oh my god.
The
This
globe
is why I
Fantastic.
find it pointless.
Yeah.
It's
I
supposed
haven't got
to
anything
spherical
to say.
geometry is, and for you to go, oh, well, that's not what I
Okay.
was talking about.
Yeah, okay. You carry on thinking that you're way above everyone else, dude, when you're
Thanks,
not.
Dad, but
Listen to yourself
stand
one day. Maybe
firmly
listen
in
to
the
it
knowledge
back
that I am more
and see
intelligent
how
than
you sound.
Since I understand that
It's
the
the-
Earth
You
has a two-dimensional
sound
surface.
like a bloody chavvy little twat.
Sounds like one
Go
of the
away.
Twitter guys.
No, not name calling. What am I gonna do?
I don't know. Probably resort to talking like a 12-year-old again.
You know what I'll do? Maybe I'll present more evidence that you guys can't refute. Woo, that's a good one.
This is about your level of debate, so I'm glad we've got this sorted out.
Is that a Google screenshot evidence are we going for?
anyone
Again,
else
more of this
wanna go?
brilliant.
Two sides that could
Are we
possibly be
finished?
correct. And
Are we finished with this moron?
this is just a lecture.
Yeah,
This is a
well,
lecture on spherical geometry.
he's
from me to
exposing the
Professor
problems of the globe side here. To be honest with you, I think it's quite
Exposing
impressive.
himself as a lunatic.
So is that it? Is that all you got? Do you misunderstand the
Are you
surface of the sphere?
are you
Anything
ready
else?
to go? Are you ready to go about geometry
Yeah.
then? Nidhugg, do you want to?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do you want
we
to
can't
lay
go
out? Do you want
past-
to lay out your argument
we can't
succinctly?
go further until you acknowledge that the surface of a sphere is two-dimensional.
No, there's a spherical geometry is the geometry done on the two-dimensional surface of a sphere.
Perfect.
Right, so
Nothing to
two
talk about. Thank you for
dimensions.
finally
Now is we
agreeing.
go. Now we
After
have to
arguing
establish.
for a minute.
Now we establish what two dimensions are. Right.
We know what two dimensions are.
In the reality we live in, we live in three dimensions. We are going to have length, breadth, and height, or length, breadth, thickness. Right? You would agree with that?
Yes, we live in a three-dimensional world. Ben.
Okay.
Thank you for
Now
illuminating.
two dimensions would be length times breadth, an area, a square, flat, plane. That's you just using two dimensions.
Yes, we measure that.
Right,
with surface.
that's a theoretical surface, isn't it? Because in reality, that's only in geometry, because there's nothing 2D in reality. Everything is 3D, which means it has either a thickness or a depth to it.
You're literally saying you can't measure surface area in reality, and that is
No, I'm saying you can measure. You do measure surface area. That's what you do.
Then
Right, but
why-
that
then why would you make a
it's
claim to
two
the contrary?
two dimensional. We even call it squared, don't we? So many meters squared. Right?
Surface area, yes, perfect.
Yeah. So
we have
okay, brilliant. So
2 dimensions in a 3-dimensional world.
we can do a reverse argument from logic and say that because we measure squares and we know that in spherical geometry there are no such things as parallel lines and parallel straight lines, actually. Then because
parallel lines have their own separate definition in spherical geometry.
Go on then. Do you want to give us that? What's the definition of parallel lines in your spherical geometry? But let me finish doing this first. There are no parallel lines in spherical geometry, which means there's no such thing as a square in spherical geometry. So the fact that you have a surface area that's measured in squares that isn't possible on the surface of the sphere, like you say, because it's a 2-dimensional surface, you have to have 2-dimensional surface in order to have squares, a flat surface. Okay, now off you go with your definition of why 2D sphere.
So what's the definition of a square?
Do you want to play a game? I'll go first. 4 straight sides. You go.
So can you have
do another one? Go on, you have another go. Another definition of a square if you want.
Because I could tell you right now that I can have a rectangle, and that's not a square, and a rectangle has 4 straight sides. Do you want to try again?
And 2. Well, that has okay. Well, there you go. That's why we go with definition of a square. 4 equal straight sides.
There we go.
Go on, and you can go now. Go on. We'll have a competition.
Each of those, by definition, each of those angles 90 degrees. Is that correct?
Sorry, you broke up.
Each of those angles would be 90 degrees. Is that
4
correct?
right angles. That's another definition. Yeah, okay. I will go with 2 equal diagonals bisecting perpendicularly. Ooh, do you like that one? That was the technical one. Go on, your turn.
Sure. Draw 4 90-degree angles on a surface of a sphere, which is 2-dimensional.
Oh, see, opposite sides are parallel was the next one I'd have gone for.
That's okay. Can you draw 4 90-degree angles connecting them together to form a square on a 2-dimensional surface?
Yeah, of course you can. That's a square. That's what it is. A square is a 2-dimensional shape.
Perfect. So since we've already established that in spherical geometry, the surface of a sphere is 2-dimensional, and you can have
who's established that? No, you haven't just
me.
established
Why
that.
are you interrupting me in the middle of
because
my
you said that something that has been established hasn't. You tried a little
Yes,
bit of
we
wizardry. It
established-
doesn't work
Hang
around
on,
here.
Bev.
Go on.
We established that the surface of a sphere is 2-dimensional. You agreed with that.
No,
right before
we said spherical geometry was done on the 2-dimensional surface of a sphere. We didn't say the sphere was, the surface of the sphere was 2-dimensional. We didn't say that. We said spherical geometry is the geometry of the 2-dimensional surface of the sphere. There's a very technical word usage there when we say that. Now, we go back to a square is a 2-dimensional shape, right? As is, strangely enough, a circle is a 2-dimensional shape, isn't it?
Surface of a sphere, 2-dimensional, yes or no?
No, a circle is a 2-dimensional shape. We have to start from the beginning, from the basics.
Yes or no? Well, 2-dimensional surface of a sphere, yes or no?
We're starting at the basics, obviously, because we need to understand what 2-dimensional is.
I'm sure your audience is tired of you not answering this question. Is the surface of a sphere
It seems to be you that is incapable of understanding what 2-dimensional is.
The surface of a sphere is 2-dimensional.
Well,
it is you that has a problem saying it.
No, a sphere is a 3-dimensional object, as I'll say.
But, right. We're not talking about a sphere. We're talking about the surface of a sphere.
Well, that's what bounds the 3-dimensional shape.
You've already established that it's three-dimensional when you answered my question earlier about a point on a sphere being closer to you than another. You already answered the riddle. It's three-dimensional.
The surface of a sphere is two-dimensional. Yes or no?
No,
Okay,
you think it is.
But listen. I'm going to start over again.
Not what I think.
I'm going to start over again. I'm going to start over again, Lewis.
To you, the Aether Man. I'm talking to Bev.
Okay,
Who
listen up real quick.
That the surface of a sphere is two-dimensional.
Listen up real quick, Lewis. It's okay. It's all right. It'll be painless. Real quick. Okay, you're holding a basketball in front of your face, in your hand, open palmed. Is the surface of that basketball, is there a point on the surface of that basketball closer to you than another?
Yes, when it's wrapped around the sphere.
Three-dimensional.
It
three-dimensional.
encompasses a three-dimensional shape. I will ask you the same question. If you hold a cube up to your face, is one part of the surface of the cube closer to you than another?
Depends on how you're holding the angles.
Oh, yeah, it does, because it's a three-dimensional fucking object. But the surface of it is two-dimensional.
Okay, now what you're doing is you are conflating two different geometric shapes. We're not talking about squares. We're talking about spheres. Okay, so we're talking
about the surface of an object.
No, we're talking about the surface of a sphere. I'm not talking about a cube.
An object.
I'm not talking about a cube. Okay, you're the one that's obfuscating. You're the one that is making this conversation difficult. You just conflated these two shapes and obfuscated the discussion because of a false equivalency. A sphere is not a cube. They are not.
Shit.
Okay, then don't bring it up.
We're not talking about a sphere, though, are we? And we're not
Yes,
talking
we
about
are.
a cube,
Yes.
are we? No.
Yes, we are
okay, if you want
talking
to talk
about a sphere.
Then we can talk about a sphere. A sphere has volume. So what's the volume of the surface of the sphere?
Wow, come on, dude.
Oh, yeah,
no, don't say you're doing the same thing, Matt.
Is a moron thing to say.
You're still obfuscating this whole discussion. We're not talking about volume. I'm not talking about volume.
Neither am I, which is why I specifically stated the surface
You're a fuckwit, dude. You are such a fuckwit.
Which doesn't have volume.
No one made the claim that it does.
You did when you said that it's closer to you than other parts.
No, I did not say. Okay, listen very carefully. I did not say, therefore, the surface of a sphere has volume. I didn't say that.
So you agree the surface of a sphere is two-dimensional then?
No.
Well, then what is it? You can't have it both ways.
A surface of a sphere is
that also isn't three-dimensional.
A surface of a sphere is a surface of constant curvature from every point.
Talk about somebody wanting to have something both ways. He's using two different geometries.
Unfortunately, we need two different geometries when you incorporate the surface of a sphere. That's not my problem.
No, that is your problem. It's entirely your problem, right?
Spherical geometry is my problem.
Yeah, you're getting confused between 2D and 3D. It's awfully messing your head up. Yeah.
Is it now?
Right, so
what don't I understand?
You said earlier, right? Wait a minute. You said earlier that the surface of a sphere is 2D. So if you're in reality and you're measuring a mountain, what's the surface of the mountain? What's that?
You want to know the surface area of a mountain?
No, I want to know the surface of a mountain. Is that 3D or is it 2D?
It sounds like you're asking for the surface area of a mountain.
No, I am just asking the surface.
What do you mean by surface?
Yeah, just the surface, the bit that you look at.
The surface area. Then.
No, just the surface.
What is the difference between surface and surface area?
Because it's just the surface. We're not measuring anything. We don't need to know an area.
What's the difference between the two terminologies?
Well, because one, you're talking about an area, and the other one, you're just talking about the surface.
That's fucking nonsense. What do you
Is the surface of the mountain 3D or 2D?
You're talking about the
No,
surface.
yes, we are trying to find out if you know the difference between 2D and 3D.
Here you go, Bev. If I'm going to gift you that mountain for Christmas and I'm going to wrap it in Christmas paper, I need to know how much Christmas paper I need. So I'm going to measure the surface area of the mountain so I know how much wrapping paper to put on the surface.
No. So, is that surface 2D or 3D?
It's 2D because you're measuring the
So
surface.
you are a flat earther, mate. You think everything is 2D. You are the flat earther.
I'm just speaking correctly, and now you're
you just look everywhere and see 2D. That's a flat. You see flat everywhere. You can't get it out of your head. You're obsessed with it.
We're moving away from the mountain because you clearly got destroyed on that.
No, you think the surface of a mountain is 2D. That's not my problem, mate. That's yours. Completely on you.
Area, which is a two-dimensional measurement.
You're a flat earther, you must be.
God, how do you guys do you guys as grown adults actually hear this right here and go,
yeah, a 2D is a flat.
Right now. Have you ever wrapped a Christmas present before?
It's a plain surface.
I'm measuring 3 dimensions to wrap this box. No, you're not. You're measuring the surface area, which is a 2-dimensional measurement. So you know how much your flat
It's a nice obfuscation, but you've just exposed yourself as being a 2-dimensional earther. You think everything is 2D.
I think the surfaces can be measured in 2D. Which is why you use surface area. How do you claim that you have passed geometry without understanding this concept?
I know. I know how to work out the formula.
I honestly agree with your point right now that
the
you can't
formula for the surface area of a circle. Pi r squared means it's 2D, right? Yeah?
Circles are 2-dimensional. Good job.
Brilliant. And you know that by a freak of nature, the surface of the sphere is 4 circles of equal radius. That's really weird, that, isn't it? Like 4 2D shapes. It's 4 pi r squared. It's just the circle times by 4. Isn't that weird? The way that turns out. So that's why it's 2-dimensional. 2-dimensional. It's a circle. You said a circle is a 2-dimensional shape. And the surface area of a sphere is just 4 of those. 4 circles. 4 2-dimensional shapes. Right? 2D. So you do know the difference between 2D and 3D then. Oh, I'm glad to hear it. Even the function through mathematics, it's just the r squared function of mathematics that deals with the square, right?
Good. No, so we're in agreement.
But the very fact that you use the word square is a geometric function, right? Based on the laws of logic, and a square is a geometric shape.
The square
with
is just
opposite sides parallel to each other.
Doesn't mean that it is somehow associated with an actual geometric shape.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that's what a square is, mate.
Okay.
Yeah, the square came first, and the mathematical formula of squared came from the square. Have you never seen Pythagoras' theorem?
This nonsense from Bev.
Euclid, Pythagoras' theorem. Surely you've heard of this?
It doesn't matter.
Pythagoras' theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, right?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's a square, right? You do realise that's a square, and like the geometric shape, a square, don't you?
So, Bev.
Don't you? You do. Can I get a confirmation? You do realise that a squared is talking about the geometric square.
Bev, I don't care.
What?
don't care.
Why?
surface
Because
area is
is that
measured
because it ruins whatever you've just been saying and exposes you as being an
surface area is
ignorant
no longer
of
measuring
geometry?
dimensions because of that. Our surface area is no longer the
It's a
measurement
square.
of two-dimensional
It's a
surfaces.
square function. I've just been telling you, 2-dimensional.
Okay, Bob. All right, I've had enough. This was comedy gold.
That was
Does the rest of the
great.
panel
Thanks for
actually
coming
agree
round.
with what you're saying?
If
Like,
you
can we
if
get
you know
some
anybody that knows any
Hey,
more
Rocky.
than you, send them
Rocky.
over here, mate. Please.
Rocky, do you honestly believe that you can't take the surface area of an object and that'll be a two-dimensional shape? Like, do you agree with that?
It's a square. Square's a 2-dimensional shape. Only in Euclidean geometry as well, the square. It's a
We're done with you,
fantastic
Pat.
shape.
We're asking for other people to see if they actually buy the nonsense you've been
Bye,
saying.
pointless little fishy. Goodbye.
Oh,
Have fun.
you got a
Take
fangirl.
care.
You got a fangirl.
Yeah. Flush you down the toilet.
Hey,
Bye.
Does sound like Lewis. But
Why
I think
does anybody put up with that nonsense?
That's rude. I was asking you.
Yeah, like I said. Bye, little fishy.
disconnect him. I like that. What?
Just, I mean, when did you just tell them that they're pointless? They're pointless to talk to.
It's clear he just super chatted. Then what's up with that? How the fuck did you do that? It said off.
It's not on the YouTube. You can click on it and do it.
Look at that. Clearly donated.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the first.
Thank you very much.
Triggered.
No, I said that, Cleary. I did say that. There's nothing 2D in reality. Although it'd be iffy that you could say that an image on a screen is 2D. But I don't know about that. A light image. I don't know. Iffy, but is there anybody here that sort of like got it in their head that guy might possibly have a case for having a 2-dimensional surface of a sphere? Because I mean, I've heard it loads and it's mulled around in my head a fair few times. 2D, 3D, is it possible? And like the answer's no. It's a superficies, a surface, and as defined up until book 11, it's just as length times breadth, 2 dimensions. There's no height or thickness. It's just length times breadth.
And
There's
you
no
can't
such thing
bend
as
a plane.
2D object. In reality, I don't think there's such a thing as a 2D object.
Oh, there's definitely no such thing as a 2D object. Because that is like his impossibility, isn't it? It's even worse. Well, a lot 1D is even harder for me to mentalize.
Yeah, forget that. Yeah.
I can sort of get a point as being nothing. It's just like a location marker. Nothing until you start something there. It's like a start point or an end point. It's just a location marker. 1D, not got a clue. You know, that's really hard for me to imagine. And 2D surfaces are a plane. It's mathematically described as a flat. It's the reality term, like, because mathematics has the mathematics side and then it has the reality side. So you have a plumb bob, which is the reality tool for a vertical. You have a level, which is the reality tool for a horizontal. And then you've got a right angle, which is the reality tool for a square. And yeah, 2D
in our world
is
I think.
Go on. I say 2D in maths is a plane surface, and in reality we call that flat.
Yeah. What I say is this: we live in 3D. There's only 3D. There's no 4D. You can't put a T and add it to a calculation and put time. No, we live in 3D. Everything is 3D. Everything.
Yes. But can you have a line in reality? You'd have to say yes. You know, like just the geometric line from one point to another is geometric. It's like a concept, you know, and
it's a concept.
it can be straight, and you can have the plane as well. You can have a geometric plane in reality, because that's what you use. So, I mean, you sort of can have them, but if you're leaving it as a concept for you to use, but as soon as you draw it or describe it, you know, actually mark it out, then you're physicalizing it, aren't you? So the whole point of geometry is getting the proofs through it. You have to enact them into reality.
Yeah, they say a line is 2D, right?
No, they say a line is 1D. A plane is 2D.
The plane. I'm sorry, the plane. Yeah, okay, but that's only because we said 1D. Forget about it. I misspoke. But even the plane, right? It's in your mind. Once you draw it, how are you gonna? Let's say you want to show somebody what it is, right? Doesn't that make it 3D automatically? Like even the line, right? Even if you say a line is 2D, right? Once you draw that line, right? It's only 2D in your brain if you really think about it. Once you draw that line down, isn't that 3D? Aren't you taking a pencil and actually putting ink? Doesn't that ink have length, breadth, and height? Think about it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about geometry, and when you're doing it and you're making it, right, you're drawing it out, but you're only drawing it out for a representation of what you're doing. Because nowadays, the calculations and all of that, like, because these guys don't seem to realize that you need to measure between straight lines, but it's been taken out of that actual measurement stage and into the calculation stage. So they're all calculating angles and stuff. So you're just making a representation on the paper to aid you with your mental idea of the geometry, right? You're trying to form proofs and predict things within geometry on the paper, but the paper isn't what you're actually doing, is it? You know, the paper just turns into a representation of what you're doing. Now, in reality, that would be a plan or something for a building or whatever, and then the reality of it would be the real thing. That's exactly. Definitely 3D, isn't it? You know,
you're not going to build a line, are you?
No, you're just going to represent it on the 2D paper, right, or whatever. And right. you then have to do perspective and all of that sort of geometry stuff comes into how you visualize it. But like in reality, it'll be completely different, won't it? You know, like it's a different process.
Yeah, in a real world, it'll be 3D. Euclidean.
Yeah, well, you'd have that. Like, I mean, a lot of people say you use Muppet vision, right? Well, in the building and the plans and all of that, that's how the geometry would be laid out, because that's how they would enact it into reality. So there seems to be this perspective idea, right? Well, the perspective is just how you visualize what is drawn in what people call the Muppet vision, you know, the reality geometry. How you measure distances and all of that. You do that in reality, and then you represent it. And when you look at it, it looks different because it's your perspective from this position looking at the certain thing. And all of these are obviously weird effect comes in because your eye has to make a 3D image into a 2D. And there's all sorts of fantastic stuff that goes on.
Yep, all in the mind. Kind of like time, a concept.
Yeah. Well, it's like Jesse Kozlowski said, once you measure and mark all of those points and whatever, they are there, right? They don't move because you change your position. You just look at them and they look different but you don't change the size and the position of that object that's already there just by you moving away from it. If that's been measured, then it's been measured. That's it.
Yeah, it would be ludicrous to think otherwise. Yeah.
Oh, I like that. That was good. I know he was annoying, but I mean, he's obviously trying a lot harder than most of the ballers that come. Who was that, Louis? Because it
sounded like Lewis, yeah.
No, it wasn't. I don't think. But it was. So he couldn't speak properly. He wasn't interested in actually having a conversation. If you listen to the way he spoke.
Well, I know. I've
just,
heard the
big
obfuscation
joke.
tactics all before, every one of them.
Big joke to him, and then when challenged on it, he doesn't like it.
Yeah.
So pointless.
I know the group of people, though, that we're dealing with, the ones that think two-dimensional, everything is two-dimensional. Now, I would literally call them flat earthers, right? Because that's flat, isn't it? Everything is flat to them. That's a weird state to have, to be going round thinking that everything's 2D. Every surface is 2D. But that's only because one reason. They have to have the surface of a sphere being 2D. Otherwise, nothing works.
Yeah, they live on a map coordinate, in other words.
Well, that's the strange thing, right? Because latitude and longitude are two-dimensional coordinate systems, they automatically imagine that latitude and longitude are on a sphere.
It's unbelievable.
They're not.
It's unbelievable.
Yep, but
a 2D sphere.
Even when they use latitude and longitude for locating, don't they triangulate?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like I say, it is 2D.
Only in their brain. But in reality, they need the third, just like Buster said. They need the third D to find their location.
No, I mean, even triangulating with just the latitude, they have to use triangles to get a precise location, and that'd be triangles with 180 degrees
on the land. Yeah, measured.
Yeah, it'd have to be. But what's messed up about those guys the most is he's kept saying spherical geometry, and it's two different sets of rules, postulates. You know, I mean, they changed the rules.
Yeah, they don't know that though. I mean, seriously, they think they can just say the surface of a sphere is 2D because it says it here. It says it on that Google thing.
They even think they can use two coordinates to get somewhere. How about if your location's on a mountain? What do you do then?
Well, we have grid coordinates in the UK. It's a square grid.
Yeah, but don't you need an altitude?
Oh, well, that's the elevation, right? That's the other. That's the X and the Y axis and the grid coordinate system, and then you have the Z, the elevation. That's your extra. That's your Euclidean 3 space. So, yeah, all maps are flat. That's 2D. Everybody knows that's 2D. So how they can have that on a sphere when within Gaussian curvature, the mathematics that they use, it states that a surface of a sphere is an undevelopable surface, which means it cannot be expressed on a two-dimensional surface without distortion.
Only on paper and in their brain.
Well, I don't know. When only on paper is like the Mercator map, isn't it? It's like a cylinder, because they know you can't have the surface of a sphere on 2D. It's massive. You know, it's just a mental construct. That's all it is. And that 2D, 3D, I mean, who started that the other day? That was Rob, wasn't it? Rob started it with over at Jose's. 2D, 3D surface of a sphere. It's a really good conversation to have. Sorry, do I keep cutting you off?
No, brother, no. It's fine.
Yeah.
They're in... everything is a construct in their brain. The shape, the motion, everything. The 2D, the 1D, the 4D. There's only 1D. There's 3D and that's it. There's no other D.
Science It Out is trying as well. That's that's honourable of you, Science It Out. You should come in. Come in and have a chat. He says the surface there are also flat in the sense of zero curvature. 2D surfaces that aren't planes, like a cylinder. Yeah. A cylinder is a developable surface, or a cylinder has a developable surface. You can express that if you cut it up like a cube, and you know, when you unfold it out, you can lay it down and it will be the same surface. You can just then, well, cylinder is the same sort of thing. The ones that aren't developable are things like a hyperboid, or whatever you call a Pringle, because they squash.
How about a tesseract? Nidhugg, have you heard of a tesseract? Another imaginary object. An imaginary dimension, actually. Yeah, to be more precise.
Yeah, the sphere is a really weird shape. It's almost like they worship it. But then they have to have it as a 2D surface. It must be a really mixed up place that you live in. Because that's got to be confusing for just about anyone.
Everything is backwards in their world.
Yeah. I think they live on a 3D ball, but then every surface is flat. And flat is a surface of zero curvature. Nowhere. None. Yet they want to have a surface of constant curvature.
Well, yeah, and they call it level. They'll even bring you they'll post you a citation. They'll bring out an encyclopedia and say, look, this is what it means. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, I think it is one of the longest running debates ever, I personally think, is the geometry debate. Because it comes down to logic, and there's only confusion coming from one side. It's like a two-dimensional surface of constant curvature is fantastic. And can you imagine if the geometry was based on such dodgy ground? Imagine where we'd be. Like, there would be no such thing as trigonometry. There'd be no triangles. You wouldn't be able to have all of these mathematical proofs based around triangles, right angles. You'd struggle how to know how to build things, to make square, plumb, true. All of these words wouldn't mean a thing.
You figure the ancient Egyptians knew about plums and levels and stuff?
Absolutely. That would be the only... We were saying when we went we went right back to the beginning. And, like, what is there that you can be sure of? Right? What sort of fundamental things could you be absolutely certain of?
Water. That's my first choice.
Yeah. Water, you'd know that water establishes a level, and you know that anything hanging down by a weight or whatever would always hang in that position, right, straight down. And know the relationship between those two.
Oh, sorry, Beth.
Yeah, the relationship between those two is always going to be the same everywhere.
Yep. I imagine after you see your first big rainfall, you figure out how water flows as well, no?
Yeah, down. Like it goes down into a point where it doesn't go down anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could definitely be sure of that.
What I miss?
Oh,
I heard a bunch of stuff, but
go on.
I was busy and I couldn't talk, and I was kind of chomping at the bit. And then my earbuds died.
I've got a cheerleader of her. I don't understand what he's going on about, Nidhugg. Yeah, did you hear Nidhugg come in and have a go at the 2D, 3D?
I heard a little bit of it. I didn't catch all of it.
I don't know. That's fascinating to me, that argument, but I'm guessing it sounds a bit boring when you're hearing it over and over. How many times have you heard that argument, Emma? Must be getting a bit old.
He almost lost it, right? He got a little flustered a couple times and just almost went berserk. He was acting a little childish.
Yeah.
Different voices, and Tommy did the same thing, right? Started breaking down mentally.
Yeah, it's tough. Tough for him. Like I say, I'd like you imagine a world where a surface of a ball has to be 2D, but you also have to live on it. And then what you do is you ridicule another group of people and call them flat earthers, whilst you're the one that has to live on a 2-dimensional surface. It's crazy. No wonder that they're all a bit flustered when they come here.
I don't get the argument though. Are they taking all the elevation and topography off?
I don't know. He said the surface of a mountain was 2D.
Yeah, I don't get it. I'm trying to understand where he's coming from, and I really don't.
He's coming from a geometric, my model dictates. Because they have to rely on, they know that Euclidean geometry proves reality. We can take right line geometry and show, right, that there's no measured curvature, right? It's obvious that a water level is horizontal and we can prove it, make a straight line. But then they have to go, well, we don't have that. We have spherical geometry. And then they go and look at spherical geometry, and it says, like he says there, it's the geometry of the two-dimensional surface of the sphere. And if you know maths, it's an undevelopable surface, but it does say it's 2D. So therefore, the uneducated within geometry or reality people, they then just take that, it says it on Wiki. And I don't particularly understand the wizard spell that's being said. So therefore, a surface of a sphere must be 2D. It's a must-do situation. My geometric model dictates that all surfaces must be 2D. But that's a plane. I think it's because spherical geometry is it's spherical trigonometry, and it's a function that comes at the end of Euclid, and it's been just took away and moved a little bit, made into something that it isn't really. Place it around a Euclidean sphere and pretend it's 2D, because maps are 2D. You need to be able to express it 2D. Just don't think about it anymore. And then somebody brings a geometric argument to them, and you automatically find out who the actual flat earthers are. And that's why they're so vitriolic towards the flat earthers, because they don't want you finding out that they actually have to. Their model tells them they must live on a two-dimensional surface. It'll come as a shock to most globers as well. They won't realise that they have to get pushed into that position. But I mean, they'll still believe that they live on a globe. I think it's ingrained into us in childhood. It's really hard to get rid of that ball model. Nidhugg is hanging around. He must be the guy that they've put on the job. Just keeps going round and around. Who else had that? That was Chunky. Similar sort of argument.
They seem to all be like going to the same school or something.
No.
They're all buddies.
It's the same pamphlet.
Same pamphlet, yeah. When they say this, say this.
Oh, science it out, and yeah. Yeah, I'm not too sure it's Rumpus's university. I think we may be in danger of making or teaching them one of the weaknesses, that they'll have to be coming up with some sort of an argument about it. And I'm guessing it's going to be, well, all surfaces are 2D, duh. It's not a brilliant argument. And I quite like the thing today with Flatzoid, but Tommy was running as well. Did anybody guess what Tommy was running from?
I didn't get to hear it all.
He was measuring angles, wasn't he? And like Nidhugg had the problem. The angle between two straight lines, or 2 points normally, but that equates to you as being the vertex where you're measuring the angle from, becomes the 3 points, and you're measuring an angle between those 2 points, which would be the angle between the two straight lines. between the points on either side. Or a vertical angle, same thing, straight line.
I didn't think he was going to come in.
Nidhugg's been in here before, though. He came. Tommy did well. Give him his due. He was under pressure, wasn't he, to do whatever.
Well, I was just bringing that little video in, you know, kind of help out with the how long distance in that garage.
Yeah.
You know, and definitely it wasn't.
That's what's good about those things. You give us those things, but you realise he wanted to go to that picture at the beginning, like as though it was part of his presentation, right? And he obviously came really badly prepared because he wanted your picture from the last time he was here. That's amazing. And he wanted, like, why didn't he try and use that as his own picture?
Sounds like a ranty deal.
Yeah, it's almost like they want you to talk about stuff so that they can have something to go away with and come back again. You know, like, I don't know. We've got Nidhugg and Science It Out. Now, Science It Out is a guy who bought a theodolite and put it on a balcony. And also, did you see the water level? Do you like that? I like really liking the dark shark. Tommy had his at 90 degrees. He had a 90-degree dark shark. And for what purpose, I don't know. But they're all doing it. They're getting these little 1 meter water levels and just having them in the vicinity of where they're taking pictures and stuff. I hope you saw that, DP. Gratuitous early use of a 90-degree dark shark. They do need a sight one, a proper one.
Sorry, Bev, took me a bit of time to get to my unmute button. What was that?
Did you see the dark shark that Tommy did?
Well, I saw him.
At the
Yeah,
beginning?
I saw him using the water level incorrectly as a line of sight tool.
Yeah, at 90 degrees. It was like I don't know. I sort of imagined him like as a bow configuration with his camera in the middle, and then he moved it to the side to give it a 90-degree dark shark. Whereas Rumpus, when he says he's doing a 180 dark shark, right? One behind him, and then turning round and facing the opposite direction. It's great.
Like Rumpus will ever do anything.
It shows that, right, they've got the water level, at least the idea of a water level. And because they're wanting to get it in the picture, aren't they? Ingenious. Like, I don't know whether, I quite I admired it. You know, I thought he was playing to us. He obviously thought Bev likes water levels. You know, the guys over there, they're doing a water level test, you know, to prove right line geometry. We're quite good at the water levels. We've got possibly the longest water levels ever. And why not? Why not do a little tribute to the water level? Just take a picture of it. Shout out to DP. We'll give it a quick dark shark. Boom, look at that. Not good. I love it. Right. I think I'm going to... Did you see the picture that Sandra put in the chat? With the camera at Blackpool Beach. Inches away. It was like right down on the sand. Wet sand with the water coming. And they've got the Isle of Man. 65 miles away. From a few inches above the water. Must have been some really good weather that day. So check it out.
I didn't know DP made that meme. I was going to ask him that exact question where he had the two lines angled outward. Have you seen that? He posted it like...
ages ago. Yeah, I've got the trolls are in there. I'll have a look.
Yeah,
for a shot.
Yeah,
okay, so you measure an angle on a curve. Yeah.
The two lines going outward. I was thinking that exact same thing. I didn't realize he made a meme of it.
Oh, yeah. We've been... All of these arguments, they're not new. We've been through over them multiple times. And the angle to a curve is a killer. There's no such thing. And it's logically provable. Since...
Reductio ad absurdum.
Yeah, since everything in Euclid is proved, bar the axioms. I mean, how do you prove that two lines don't enclose a space? I mean, it's a bit hard to prove those sort of things, isn't it? Where would you even begin? But so everything other than the axioms is provable, and if an angle's a definition, then the fact that those definitions are used within the proofs sort of proves that the definitions are true. Word for word. So yeah. There's no such thing as an angle to a curve. There's quite a few of these little geometric sayings. I think a guy sings about them puts them in songs. Although that's pretty tricky. There's no such thing as an angle to a curve. Right, I think I'm going to shut this off for tonight. But this may become a regular thing. May not. I don't know. Depends. I could do it a couple of hours a night. Any requests are taken. And thanks for coming in the chat and everything, guys. I'm shutting it.